Good, beautiful Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another free learning event here at the HR Cafe, Usapang Trabaho, Buhay Iba Pa. We are your weekly free learning habit. This is being aired live at the Philippines HR Group FB group page, and of course the HR Cafe, Usapang Trabaho, Buhay Iba Pa FB page, and the Philippines HR Group YouTube channel. My name is Coach Darwin Rivers, and today is March 3, 2024. Let's begin our program. Here at the HR Cafe, we provide timely using updates to impart knowledge and experience that are value-adding and beneficial to you, our audience. We also discuss problems, issues, and challenges and provide answers and resolutions through our guest resource speakers. We also discuss new technologies, tools, and processes, as well as industry's best practice. If your company has any job opening, we invite you to please post it here at the comment section of the HR Cafe program, because we are a virtual job board and we will be happy to announce any HR opening or announcement from your company. At the end of the day, we would like to bridge understanding between employers and employees and provide inspiration and motivation to the Filipino working class. We start our program with our wow quote for the week, and then we move to our HR learning and HR question for the week. Next to that will be, of course, important updates from different government agencies. And the second part of our program would be our free training, which would be facilitated by our special guest speaker for today, which is, of course, seasoned HR leader, Mr. Bong Aguilar. Now, let me just introduce you to our HR Cafe servers. Again, my name is Coach Darwin Rivers. I'm the founder and president of the Philippines HR Group. Joining me today are Mentor Tina Coang, who's the operations and HR leader, a well-known content creator of tinaandmanil.com, and also one of the top HR Filipinas to follow in LinkedIn. Hello, Mentor Tina. How are you?
Magandang hapon, umaga at gabi sa inyong lahat. Welcome to the HR Cafe. We have a very jam-packed schedule and learning for everyone, and I'm very happy to share this stage with you, Coach Darwin, Mentor Bonnie, Coach Oliver, and of course, Mentor Ray Fremista.
Thank
For
you.
those who are watching, pakiiwan lang yung mga your name, where you are in the Philippines or otherwise, so we can give you a shout out at the show.
Correct. Thank you, Mentor Tina. And of course, we have Mentor Donna Florentine, who unfortunately won't be able to join us, together with Mentors Nilo Macad and Mentor Alan Cañete. But they will be back in our program in the next couple of weeks. But of course, we have our other HR Cafe mentors. We have Mentor Oliver Rickelman. Mentor Oliver Rickelman is an adjunct professor at the Far Eastern University, a known HR speaker and leader. Mentor Oliver, Oli, kumusta? How are you today?
Doing good. It's a pleasant Sunday to everyone and a pleasant afternoon as well. It's bright and sunny. It's a good thing, at least hindi maulan. So I would like to welcome back Tina from a very long trip, and of course Bonnie. It's nice to see you again. And Ray, looking forward to see you again soon. And Darwin, it's one of the best afternoon to catch up with you on a Sunday.
Thank
A
you,
pleasant
Mentor Oli.
afternoon to everybody.
Thank you. And of course, we also have Mentor Ray Fremista. Mentor Ray Fremista is a senior director of an BPO company. He's also one of the top 30 Filipinos to follow in LinkedIn, and also one of the top 100 Filipinos in LinkedIn. Mentor Ray Fremista. Dr. Ray, kumusta? Na-miss ka namin.
Yeah, what a wonderful afternoon or day to all of you. Yeah, na-miss ko yung lahat, no? I mean, from Coach Tina to Bonnie to Ollie and to you, Darwin, as well. So thank you so much for having me here again today, and I look forward to really having conversations with the rest of you.
Thank you, Dr. Ray. And of course, Mentor Bonnie Factor. Mentor Bonnie Factor is a founder and CEO of Leading with Success Incorporated. She's a known figure in AI in the Philippines, also one of the top 30 Filipinos to follow. Mentor Bonnie, kumusta? How are you?
How are you? Darwin. I'm doing great. Hi, everyone. Nice to be back. Hi, Tina. Hi, Oliver. Hi, Ray. Ang saya ni Ray eh. Sinusundan ko yung travel ni Ray. At yung
Correct.
conference nyo,
Well
ni...
traveled. Thank you, Mentor Bonnie. Now, your Asia Cafe mentors will be the one who will be discussing a whole lot of topics and updates. So let's go and start our program. We also have, by the way, Mentor Jamie Iris and Mentor Jackson Kitchon. Hopefully, they'll be able to join us at the latter part of our program. If not, then you will be seeing them next week. Now, we've been doing this for 4 years now, and we always start our program with the wow quote for the week. And for this week's wow quote for the week, this is a quote coming from Darren Hardy. According to Darren Hardy, success is a result of daily disciplines compounded over time. Let me just repeat this. Success is a result of daily disciplines compounded over time. This is a quote from Darren Hardy. We would like to invite all of you guys. We have more than 50 people watching us live right now. Please comment your thoughts about this wow quote for the week. How is this wow quote for the week resonates to you so that we can also share it to the community. But let's go first with our mentors. Mentors, Tina, for this particular quote, in your own experience, why is this quote important?
I think that discipline is a choice, a commitment, and is something that we must force ourselves to do. Discipline is something that we do something even if we don't like it, even if it's painful, just because we've committed to that decision. So examples of discipline is saying no to an invitation because you have to stay in the office to finish a project because you promised a colleague that you have to submit it. Discipline is finishing school even when you have to work extra hours so just you can afford the tuition fee kasi hindi na kaya ng pamilya mo. Discipline is working even when nobody is because that's the type of person that you are. 'Di ba? Kahit na wala ka ng kasama sa opisina, ikaw na lang yung nandyan, gagawin mo pa rin kasi may disiplina ka. And ang hirap ng magkaroon ng disiplina. In the Philippines, it's not really part of our culture to be extremely disciplined kasi sometimes, minsan sumusunod lang tayo pag may nakabantay. Pero pag honest yung system, tapos wala na nagbabantay, lahat na ng tao parang gumagawa na ng sarili nilang diskarte. And I think like if every single one of us has that discipline, the country will be in a much better place. The company will be in a much better place. The family will be in a much better place. But it's so, so hard to have discipline. Even to the most professional of people, it is one of the most difficult choices to make. Kasi lahat ng tao, umalis na, ikaw na lang yung natitira. Wala ka na ngang pera. Yung may pera ka, tapos hindi ka gagastos sa Shopee, Lazada, March 3 sale, diba? That's discipline. And honestly, if we're really being honest, I think even for me, everyone lacks that type of discipline. And I would challenge us, if you look to our Southeast Asian neighbors and our Chinese neighbors in Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, kasi galing ako Hong Kong eh. We have to look at on average, the national average, mas malaki talaga ang discipline ng mga katabi nating mga countries versus here in the Philippines. And I challenge everyone, sana, we start with ourselves. 'Di ba? You cannot meddle with other people. Ba't sila hindi sila sumusunod tas ako lang sumusunod? O 'di ba? Eh pakialam mo sa kanila. Then we start with our kids, our children, the people around us, the family members around us. Let's train ourselves to be disciplined. And then when we start with ourselves and with other people in our immediate vicinity, then we make a big difference. But it has to start with us. Right?
Agree.
Because if you want to be, sa akin lang, sabi ko nga, bakit ako umuwi from Hong Kong? Eh, mas mataas yung sahod sa Hong Kong, hindi ba? Or sa Singapore or overseas. Pero sa totoo lang, if you are more disciplined here in the Philippines, mas uunlad ka. Totoo lang ha. Kasi you look at it not on a 1 to 2 year basis. You look at it on a 10, 20, 30 year basis. If you work really hard in the Philippines, sobrang lapad ng network mo. Sobrang mako-compound mo yung output mo. Sobrang nabuboost yung career mo dito sa Philippines. Kasi nga, pag masipag ka sa Singapore, you're normal. Pero if you're very disciplined here in the Philippines, you can reach the stars. So I challenge everyone to be very disciplined in their work, in their life. Kasi sa totoo lang, if you can remain committed, you will really get somewhere if you remain here in the Philippines. Especially if you compound that discipline over time. Ayan. So, before I pass on, I'd like to greet Angelic Dohelio. Hi, Coach Darwin, Mentor Tina, to other members of PHRG. She is a regular viewer of the HR Cafe. We have Maria Cristina Morta Bautista, who is watching from San Fernando, Pampanga. And we have JJJJ watching from Pampanga. How about you, Sir Ray, Doc Ray? Wow, quote of the week.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Tina, when it comes to like discipline, right? It's all about commitment, having that stamina, having that grit. And if I want to step back as well, that people would have their own definitions of their own success. Sabi nga, di ba, sa Netflix, you have to define your own definition of what rich life is all about for you. And I believe that's a very good inspiration for you to move forward. That yun yung at stake. What is at stake kapag hindi mo ginawa yung you said you would do. So I believe discipline is really important. As you mentioned, right? This is something that kahit ayaw mong gawin, you have to do it. It's because it's something that because you don't rely that much on motivation. At the end of the day, it's really more about discipline. Even if you don't want to do it, you have to do it like on a daily basis, day in, day out. So I believe that's the stamina that we need to have. Um, and then compounded over time because over time if you keep on practicing it you get better at it and you learn something about it, even the people around you. I believe it's very important as well that the people around you, if you can connect with people who also have like very good in terms of establishing disciplines in their lives. I believe that would be a very good support system for you to move forward. Kumbaga, there are more people who can not just push you, but more people who can be with you in this journey towards the achievement of your success, whatever that success may look like for you.
Agreed. But
So
Mentor Ray, do you have any, I mean, experience on kasi you're a very successful HR leader. And I'm sure as part of your success, it's because you're a disciplined leader also. Can you provide us with some examples of how you've reached that success through discipline?
absolutely. Usually start with identifying the different habits I need to have for me to become successful. So identifying what success looks like for me. At the same time, what are those? I usually build system, not just like these different types of habits, but system meaning these are the things that I do on a daily basis and over time. For example, when you wake up in the morning, you should have your own like morning routine. So I also
Mhm.
have that. To say, for instance, in the first 20 minutes, next another 20 minutes, then 20 minutes, I have that. Say, for instance, I meditate in the first 20 minutes. Next would be I exercise. Next one would be I journal. So it's a combination of different types of things that you have to do. And even at work as well, you have to say, for instance, if you have a specific project, I usually block some of the time in there. Na kumbaga walang na talaga, walang distraction, even social media. So you have to you have to turn them off. So I believe it's all about the discipline. It's because with all of the noise, all of the noise that we have like around us, it's easy to be distracted, and especially with the social media and all of that, with LinkedIn and all of that. But they're very helpful, definitely. But you have to be very focused on
Focus.
that goal of you. So I know that focus is very important, but it's really hard. It's difficult, and just like discipline is also difficult. So as much as possible, you have to keep on practicing, identify what is that habit or habits that you want to build, and also identify or establish that system that can help you out for you to parang nagiging automatic na din siya over time. Kumbaga, parang hindi ganun kahirap for you in the long run. So, I believe that's what I can share at this point. But there are so many more inputs as well that I put right there in my YouTube channel. Darwin, yeah.
Thank, thank you for that, Dr. Ray from Mista. Mentor Bonnie, how are you? What's your thoughts about discipline?
I have three words that hacks discipline for me. It's curiosity. So sobra tayo ng isa kasi parang definition sa akin, fun or play, and then it will turn into obsession. Parang they've said na for you not to be able to work a day in your life, you need to parang love the work that you do. This goes way back, way back. And so it's in the intersection, yung ikigai, di ba? The ikigai circle. So for me, that's what are you curious about? And what are you spending your time on when you're not, even if you're not paid, you will do it. Tapos, when you combine that, yung nasa gitna nun, it really becomes your obsession to get better and better. Kasi parang rabbit hole quest siya. You go on quest. Parang ka nasa video game na you go on quest because you enjoy these obsessions. And so, yung discipline makes it parang discipline nagiging easy na lang siya because you're so addicted to these quests that you go on. Parang, okay, this is my curiosity and this is so fun. And it's different for everyone. Yung fun and play, it's so different for everyone. It's different for Ray, for Ollie, for Tina, different for me. So that's how parang it's a hack. That's my discipline hack. My discipline hack is yung ikigai. Parang the fun, where your fun and play, and then your curiosity lies. No one can beat you there because everyone is working hard. You're playing, you're enjoying in that field. So whatever happens, no one can beat you there. Kasi wala, you're on quest eh. You're enjoying your quest, di ba? So for me, that's my discipline hack. Yung ikigai circle.
Thank you for that, Mentor Bonnie. And of course, Coach Oliver, in the academe, di ba, marami nagsasabi ngayon that the new generation of students, walang discipline daw. Well, is this something that we need to really start from school, di ba? From family into school. What's your thoughts on it, about discipline?
Oh, well, good thing that you mentioned because I just recently had a discussion with my MBA class in one of the subjects I handle. So apparently it's more towards priorities because most of the young students now, even in the graduate school, they see their priorities as a mix of everything. Like there's the personal and then there's the professional. When you are pursuing a master's program, you need to give up some of the things in your social life. For example, late night parties or one weekend getaway in another place. So these are the things that you have to give up in order for you to pursue what you wanted to have in life. Now, discipline comes in a form of as simple as doing your assignment, as simple as checking in 10 minutes before the time of the Zoom schedule, and as simple as cleaning up your room. I mean, as simple as that. Because over time, it goes and builds up into a larger priorities or larger tasks that you have to take on. Kaya very timely quote for the week, to be honest. I wish I learned this before so I could quote the same to my students like yesterday.
Yes.
They see it as they see discipline as they were successful for the past 4 years of their careers, of their lives. So all the more that will be successful now with the mix of Netflix, social media, and what have you on the side. So I guess now the availability or the immediate access to all these channels somehow dilutes the real meaning of discipline. Gone are the days the way we understand discipline as you need to be stringent, you need to follow it to the teeth and to the period. But lately, especially the age between 25 to 30, in that range, they see it as a form of necessity, but they can get away with it. So yeah, that's That's the issue, the concern right now I have with my students when it comes to discipline.
Thank you for that, Mentor Ollie. And I just to provide a summary of what you guys have said. Discipline is not just a one-time thing. It's a habit, no? It's something that you do every day. It's something, it should be habit forming for you to be able to achieve full discipline, for you to be able to be successful. And it's not one size fits all, because each and every one of us would have a different take on how we will discipline ourselves based on our priorities. But at the end of the day, our goal, our own definition of success would be the goal that we would like to have, and that's why we need to drive discipline each and every day in our life. I think that's what how I can summarize everything that you said, dear mentors. But there is a comment from our viewers, from JJJ. Consistency and perseverance really matters when it comes to discipline. We do very much agree. A shout out from McKay Matabia. Good afternoon, everyone. This is going to be another Sunday full of learnings for all of the HR practitioners. And from Mr. Bong Madge. Well said, Sir Ray, Sir Ollie, and Ma'am Bonnie. Maraming salamat po. Let's go and continue with our program. HR question for the week. Can I be terminated for sleeping at work during my work shift? Let's start with someone who's in business also. Tina, what's your take on this? Can I be terminated because I'm sleeping at work during my work shift?
You've mentioned it a while ago, Coach Darwin. It also depends on the type of work that is to be done. So, for example, if you are a teller, branch manager, a security guard, positions of utmost yung security. Tapos natutulog ka pala kasi syempre night shift ka. For example, BPO agent ka tapos night shift ka. There is a possibility talaga that you will be terminated for just causes following due process.
Mhm.
However, for many companies na nakahuli ng isang staff na nakaiglip sa toilet on a day shift. For example, alam mo naman nagpupuyat dahil may tinatapos na project, tapos nahuli mo siyang natutulog sa toilet.
Sa desk or sa
alam
desk.
mo sa desk. Kasi alam mo talaga na pagod siya because of the work that you yourself gave to that staff. Then a written notice would suffice with a possible, if you want, kung if ever, suspension, if you must. Pero wag mo ng termination. Kasi minsan pag nagreklamo yan sa DOLE, tatanungin sa'yo ng DOLE, tama ba na umiglip ng isang beses lang? Tapos dinenay pa niya. Hindi ako hindi talaga.
Nagdarasal lang daw.
Oo, nagdadasal lang. Or napagod lang yung mata, tapos nakita mo sa CCTV. Wala pang 2 minutes, nahuli mo na kaagad. Nagpe-pray lang pala. There is a possibility kasi na babalik talaga sa'yo na illegal yung termination mo.
Yes, agree.
So you have to be very careful that number one, if it's really a critical position, then yes. If it is a non-critical position, exercise a little bit of grace and restraint. In the case na sakasakaling may magre-reklamo, right? Make sure that you actually have warned na written. Huwag ka na mag-verbal warning, written warning mo na kaagad. Tapos pag naulit, isuspend mo na following due process. Pag inulit pa ulit, i-terminate mo na. And you also have to see whether the lack of sleep is due to the family, is due to another gig, or due to the work that you've given. Kasi pag ikaw yung nagbibigay ng trabaho, baka you might want to assess that work that you're giving. Kasi baka lumabas pang constructive dismissal. Yung sobrang mong pinagod, kaya sobrang pagod, tapos nakatulog. Pero pag may gig, yung may second job, you might have to reassess your company policy kung pwede yon. And kausapin mo na ng heart-to-heart yung tao na yon na having that extra gig for extra income is not workable. Sabihin mo na ng diretso, wag mo nang paligoy-ligoy na parang, bakit parang pagod ka pa? Tanungin mo na ng diretso, may pangalawa ka bang trabaho? Kasi kung meron talaga, and hindi niya kaya ng dalawa, kailangan talaga kausapin mo para pumili na. 'Di ba parang ang hirap kasi pag minsan may umaga tapos sa after work may Uber pa. May gano'n eh. Kaya sila
Agree,
pagod
agree.
hindi sila pagod dahil sa'yo, pagod sila dahil marami silang tinatanggap kasi sa totoo lang kailangan ng tao talaga ng extra income,
Extra income.
especially nowadays. Yeah. Coach
Agree.
Oliver, may natutulog ba sa klase mo sa mga klase mo?
Pag
Nangyayari
nangyari
talaga
sa akin yun, ako yung may problema.
hindi, minsan pagod talaga.
Pag nangyari yun, pag nangyari sa klase ko yun, ako yung may sala. Ba't siya natulog? Ba't siya na inantok? So,
Agree.
anyhow, especially my classes are done. I mean, especially early in the morning and towards in the afternoon.
Exactly.
But so far, well, I haven't experienced that yet in the academy. Though in the past, at the workplace, yes, I do have experienced those, and I have my team. Some of my staff would fall asleep half day or even the first thing in the morning. Ako kasi yung taong I just look past beyond it. Oh, to be honest, I just look past beyond it because I put doubt that probably the person is just tired, or probably your physical appearance, your well-being, I mean, could also be the cause of it. If you're on the heavy side, aantukin ka talaga. Lalo na pag naubos mo yung isang buong sliced bread, expect mo na yun, aantukin yung makaubos doon. Kaya ako, I always put a cloud of doubt. I don't just easily, cast, what do you call this, attention or whatsoever. Yeah, binibiro ko just to make sundot, just to make kurot ng konti, but not to really call the attention when somebody falls asleep. In
You're more
fact, maganda nga yan.
understanding. You're more
Yeah, maganda
understanding.
nga yan, maganda nga yan to measure a security guard's alertness. Dapat mag-hire ka ng security guard, yung isang katok, gising agad. Di ba? Isang kaluskus lang, gising agad. So, yung magandang mga ganun yun. I don't think you got the joke, no?
Pero just to add, pag kunyari, yung sa security guard, pag may isang natutulog, na next month, 2, 3 na matutulog. May ano yan eh. Pag alam nilang walang nagre-report, dumadama yung natutulog, tsaka nagsa-cellphone. Which is
Ayun,
technically
sa
bawal.
cellphone. Hindi talaga
Hindi.
maganda yung sa cellphone. Yes, that's true. That's true.
Okay. Dr. Ray Firmista, in the BPO industry or the companies that you've oversee, what's your take on sleeping during work shift?
I couldn't agree more with what Mentor Tina mentioned earlier. Like all of those, depending on the situation, depending on the position, and from my perspective as well, based from my experience, when I see like someone like in the team sleeping at work, talagang pupuntahan ko siya directly. And then sasabihin ko siya, if you want to sleep, if talagang hindi mo kaya, then we have the sleeping quarters for you. But hindi siya pwede gawin talaga dito sa work because that's really unprofessional. And then that will be part of our coaching session to ensure that I can reinforce that positive environment. It's because nakakahawa kasi yun, di ba? I mean, when someone is sleeping at work, sunod-sunod na sila. And if you're not calling them out, sabay-sabay na sila. Ay, okay lang naman pala. You're tolerating them. So, for me, it's part of that discipline that we want to establish at work, especially with my team, that I would want them to become like high-performing team. So, yun yung that's not part of our norm. And so, pag may natulog, that can be maybe yung katabi nila, kung baga, sila na mismo yung tatapikan, or if talagang hindi nila kita, then I would be the person who can, sasabihan ko mismo. Yeah. But in terms of this question, no, parang medyo malayo pa siya depending on the gravity of
Correct.
maybe if there's a super critical, like say for instance a project or anything that we need to deliver to a client, as in it's a client critical deliverables, and then sobrang malaki din yung impact nun sa organization, maybe, but definitely may due process that we need to follow, but we need to evaluate what's the impact or business impact of that, ang tawag doon, of that behavior at work.
Agree. So, we're almost 100 people watching live right now at the HR Cafe. Maraming salamat po sa patuloy niyong pagsuporta. Please invite your network to watch us and learn more. We still have a lot of things to share. Our next is HR Learning for the Week. Let's start with you again, Dr. Refemista, being a trainer yourself. What is cultural alignment and why is it important to companies?
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Darwin. So, cultural alignment, let me read this very quickly in terms of this concept. So, this is a concept that describes when members of your organization holds values that are aligned with your organization's culture. Cultural alignment can contribute to employee satisfaction at work and promote employee retention. You can assess it with a cultural alignment, culture add skills test. So some of the organizations definitely they have, I mean, whenever they do the hiring process, there's a portion in there, right, on the interview. Parang may that's sabi ko, this is some sort of checking or testing your culture fit or culture alignment. I think it's a good thing. But we also did, but that's also one that's just one of the considerations that you need to look at when hiring someone in the team. It's because if I look at some of the drawbacks in terms of if you rely so much on cultural alignment, you may not get like the best talents in the world, right? Say for instance, may nakita ka na like hiring someone, may nakita ka na talent that's really kumbaga swak na swak dun sa requirements mo, but because of you still think so much of the culture or cultural alignment, then you may not get that person. So for me, may ano siya, kumbaga from diverse and inclusion perspective, na-exclude na talaga yung tao na yun. They're not giving that opportunity to be hired in the organization. And for me, when I look at culture in the organization, right, culture really changed, right? Culture evolves over time. If you keep on relying so much on cultural alignment when you hire people, when you look at hiring, you may get like a lot of people that are similar with your team members, and over time your culture may not evolve over time, and it will it will have a difficulty in terms of adapting to the current times. So that's my perspective about this cultural
Cultural alignment.
alignment.
Thank you
Yes.
for that, Dr. Ray. Mentor Bonnie, as an HR consultant and also a training facilitator, what would you advise your
For
companies
cultural
or your clients when it comes to cultural alignment?
alignment. Netflix yung pinakasikat dito, no? Kasi sa Netflix, di ba? So, they have a trial period of, at saka talagang every quarter ang ano nila, review nila. And then when you really do not fit, it's not a question of you're fired or terminated or you're not a performer. It's a question of we just want to separate because it's not a culture fit, yung culture alignment. And that's how they were able to get to the culture that they want as an organization. So, Netflix is the case for this cultural alignment. I've watched the videos of the founder of Netflix in terms of creating a culture that they really need because they need to be fast in streaming. And for me, it's such a win for them because they were able to really capture what culture they want. And it's not, it's not a shame. There's no shame or blame. If you do not fit the culture, we'll actually, in fact, we will pay you. We will pay you. Thank you for your time. They really, differentiated how they needed to separate. It's not in a way that it's bad. You're a bad person. It's not like that. In fact, we will pay you. Thank you for your time. We took the time to work together. It wasn't a fit. Let's move forward. It's a fast-paced environment. So Netflix is really good about this. And for me, they were able to revolutionize the streaming culture. Now streaming is like there's Disney, there's so much streaming now. But Netflix started it, and they knew they needed to be fast. So really good. For me, cultural alignment, the industry leader is Netflix. Google is another one, though their culture is on fire at the moment. So there. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that thought, Senator Bonnie. Now, let's start with our updates, government updates from DOLE, SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig. Mentor Oli, your take on the DOLE updates, please.
Yes, this is very timely, and I know a lot of organizations are talking about this now. Gender equality in the workplace. Now, let's pay more attention towards in the light of safety and also compliance with not only with the Department of Labor, but of course with the building regulatory office of the LGU. Kasi when we look at gender equality, it is not just only how we treat women in terms of communication, but how we provide access for their needs. No? So especially for the lactating mothers, and of course the comfort room, and even for the safe spaces, the safe places for the women. Now, on top of this, of course, the assurance as well of the equal pay. So this is to uphold equal pay for equal work and access to all related resources and opportunities regardless of gender. And when we say gender, it is not only limited only to the gender that you were born in, but to the gender that you would like to live on. No, so largely this is to facilitate and protect women's employees from risk and hazards in the workplace. Okay, so that's it for an update from Department of Labor. Ayun, sorry, meron pa pala. And of course, the implementation of policies against sexual harassment. Now, this is one of the highlights when it comes to protection of women and gender equality. And of course, for the Republic Act 9262, remember that a female employee who is a victim of violence against women and their child is entitled to a paid leave of 10 days. So ito po yung vouchee, no? Ang babaeng empleyado na biktima ng vouchee ay maaaring mag-avail ng 10 days paid leave. No? So all they need to do with or without a support of any medical medical requirements, when a female employee goes to your office, especially in human resources, and claims for a domestic violence, you have to pay more attention to the woman claiming for it. So that's it, Republic Act 9262. Back to you, Darwin.
So with regards to SSS, there is a SSS online portal is now available for everyone to access, and I strongly recommend that everybody secure their username and password, because this portal is very important in applying for loans, applying for benefits, making sure that your employer has timely remitted your loan payments and your contributions. Pero a lot of people kasi have never even accessed their SSS. If you are one of those people, please do so ASAP. Kasi ang hirap din talaga na kapag mag-a-avail ka na ng benefit, tapos wala ka pa palang, you cannot even access SSS. Tapos akala mo bibigyan ka ng cheque, pero ang hinihingi pala ng SSS yung bank details mo na may pangalan mo. Kung wala ka, di mahihirapan kang kumuha ng benefit na yon. So strongly recommend everyone to have access to their SSS kasi napaka-powerful talaga ng app na to. Also, we are safe to say that SSS has announced their net income in 2023 has exceeded 62.8% of its target of 51.06 billion to 83.13 billion as it recorded higher revenues than its expenses. A lot of people are saying, bakit may maraming pera ang SSS, hindi ba? Kung sakasakaling sa pagmamanage, how does SSS generate its cash? The first one is, remember dun sa SSS salary and calamity loans mo, the interest rates that SSS is charging is at least 6% for calamity and 10% for salary loans. Pero marami kasing tao na hindi nagbabayad ng loans, which is usually not a problem if you do not do so within your first 2 years of loan payments. The critical problem is when your loan becomes 2 digits. Pag nag-exceed na siya ng mga 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, ang laki-laki talaga ng loan interest and penalty ng SSS because not only do they charge the annual interest fee, they will charge you a very high penalty na similar sa credit card mo. Which is the reason why SSS makes a lot of money. Because if you do not pay for it, kukunin din nila yon sa pension mo. So pag kunyari, nagtrabaho ka ng mga 30 years, pagbukas mo ng tapos may nangyari sa'yo, you want to cash out from your SSS, pagbukas mo, makikita mo sa dami ng taon, dekada na pagbayad ng employer mo at sa'yo, ng SSS contributions mo, pagbukas mo, makikita mo, wala na palang laman yung pension mo. Kasi dun nila kukunin yung income nila. So sa mga taong may mga SSS loans, pakibayad lang po. Kasi ako, nagre-remit po ako ng loans at napakasakit po talaga pag nakikita ko na karamihan ng binabayad ng ating mamamayan ay hindi yung principal, pero ang interest at lalong-lalo na ang penalty. Now, sa mga taong nag-aantay ng condonation, huwag kayo masyadong mag-antay ng condonation because pag tumagal ng taon, kasi usually we always say nga, bawat eleksyon may bagong presidente, dun usually lumalabas yung condonation na yan. Pag mag-aantay tayo ng 4 hanggang 6 na taon, akala mo nakatipid ka kasi lumiit yung penalty mo, kasi na-waive po siya. Pero hindi mo po alam sa 4 at 6 na taon na yun, tiba-tiba na po ang na-charge sa inyo ng SSS ng interest payments. Which is why, ang laki po ng net income ng SSS at 83.13 billion pesos in 2023, surpassing 52.6 billion net income recorded na the previous year. Kasi sobra dami nating mamamayan na hindi nagbabayad ng loans nila sa SSS. Next po, pag-ibig. Go, Coach. Hello, muted ka, Coach Dar.
Okay, isang magandang balita po para sa mga naguhulog ng pag-ibig, yung mga pag-ibig members at yung mga merong MP2. Nag-announce na po ang pag-ibig na yung regular savings nyo ay meron ng 6.53% per annum na tinubo. At yung mga meron naman pong MP2 dyan, MP2 savings, nasa 7.03% na po sila. So this is very good news coming from the chairman's report last February 27, 2024 by Pag-ibig CEO Marlene C. Acosta, which unveiled the dividend rates for Pag-ibig regular savings and Pag-ibig MP2 savings. So sa mga nagsasabi po na bakit po kailangan maghulog po tayo sa Pag-ibig, alam niyo po, bukod po sa mga iba't ibang klaseng loans sa makukuha niyo sa Pag-ibig, alam niyo po, yung hinuhulog sa Pag-ibig, makukuha niyo po siya bilang part ng retirement niyo. At kung meron naman po kayong extra pera, we really encourage you to put it on MP2 kasi ito po ay parang siya long-term savings nyo para po siyang at napakataas po ng returns. Ngayon po for this year, it's 7.03. Sobrang taas po ito kaysa sa mga bangko na less than 0.01%. So that's very good news for us. And Dr. Ray, for updates on PhilHealth, please.
Okay, so for PhilHealth, mas pinalawak na yung mga bagong benepisyo para sa mamayang Pilipino. So this is for the chronic kidney disease. So yung original natin is we have 144 sessions. For the hemodialysis, right now 156 sessions na siya. So sa karagdagang detalye, bisitahin lang yung website ng philhealth.gov.ph or you can call yung hotline nila dito, 24/7 yung hotline nila, 866-225-88. I think this is a good news to our for the Filipinos. Next one is meron tayong bagong 24/7 PhilHealth hotline. So it's flashed right here on the screen. Philippine Health Insurance Corporation has implemented the 24/7 hotline. So the new hotline is 866-225-88, the one that I mentioned earlier. So that's 24/7, 365 days for all concerns from all members.
Thank you, Mentor Ray. Now, let's go to our announcements. We'll be having a 2-day HR core training program. This would be sort of a boot camp, a 2-day boot camp for total rewards, talent acquisition, labor relations, and learning and organizational development. The learning investment is very cheap. It's only $4,999. We're also open for group rates at $4,799. This is scheduled on March 16 to 17. It's Saturdays and Sundays, full day, 2 whole days. It will be held face to face at the Discovery Suites in Manila. This is in ADB Ortigas. So if you are starting your career in HR, or if you would like to be aware of other HR facets and be an expert in other HR facets, or you would like to refresh yourself on the latest laws or latest best practices in HR, please attend the 2-day HR core training program. Also, we would like to announce that for this year, we are looking into two international conferences. The one in July is the Tech HR in Singapore under People Matters, which is actually our third year that we're attending the conferences, HR Tech conferences in Singapore. Most of actually all of your mentors here are all alumni of Tech HR Singapore, and we'll also be looking into a conference in Bali from Build a Future team this coming October. Another announcement is that in partnership with the Philippines HR Group, the Get Hard Job Fair and Conference is scheduled on July 26th at the fifth level, Mega Trade Hall, fifth level of SM Mega Mall. It's from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are expecting more than 4,000 job applicants coming there. We also have an employment conference, and we look forward for you guys to attend this job fair this coming July. And of course, before we introduce our speaker for today, the topic is about terms useful for discipline management, which is really very important as an HR leader, as a people leader, when it comes to understanding the how labor laws and how best practices in employment laws should be held or should be facilitated in your company. So I'll give the floor to Mentor Tina to properly introduce our guest for today.
All right, it is my great pleasure to actually introduce a very good friend of mine, Sir Bong Aguilar. He has a vast experience of more than 35 years in HR management and administration, working for the following industries: manufacturing, government, insurance, mining, hotel, restaurant, leisure, media, events, construction, real estate, education, and retail. In short, buong category ng kahit anong negosyo sa Pilipinas, nagawa na niya. He has retired from employment in last year in 2023 and is currently an HR consultant and trainer. He graduated with an AB Behavioral Science from the University of Santo Tomas in 1982 and also took courses at the National Computer Institute, at the Neo de Manila Computer Technology Center, Institute of Labor Law, Class 46, from the School of Labor and Industrial Relation, Soler of the University of the Philippines in 1995. He is a certified security professional as of 2017 and a certified security management specialist in 2018. He is currently a director of People Management Association of the Philippines, PMAP, Calabarzon chapter. He has conducted many trainings on supervision, discipline management, vision, mission, values, labor law, labor relations, business writing, team building, strategic business planning, stress management, values formation, service excellence, 5S, sexual harassment, and the Safe Space Act, and of course, customer service. He is also interestingly a lay minister at the San Isidro Labrador Parish, Makilig, Calamba City, Laguna, and is also a director of the 20th BCT PFTOK, which is the Sons and Daughters of Korean War Veterans. He has a YouTube blog, WOW, WAW Philippines, on World War II and Korean War. So let us welcome Sir Bong Aguilar to talk about the terms of useful for discipline management in light of pre-Holy Week. Ah, muted ka, sir.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes,
In-unmute ko
correct.
na. Okay.
Yes.
So,
We'll be in the back. For everyone
okay.
who's watching, please feel free to leave your questions and comments for Sir Bong Aguilar's presentation, and then we will read all of those comments after his presentation. We'll see you
Oh,
soon, Sir Bong.
thank you very much, Ma'am Tina. So, good morning everyone. So, bakit kaya good morning kahit alas 3, 3:52 na in the afternoon? Paano kasi 'di ba sa training, eh, laging morning dahil fresh tayo. Actually, before I really start my presentation, naging topic kanina yung natutulog at work. So let me share as fast as I can 3 instances na natutulog sa work. One is a funny situation. Natulog yung isang empleyado namin dun sa office, dun sa bench. So nakahiga kasi sa bench. Tapos maaga pa naman. So break time pa, mga 12:45 pa ata nun. So nung nakita namin siya natutulog, napagkatuwaan namin, naglagay kami ng mga halaman sa tabi niya, nagsisindi na kami ng kandila. So in short, kunyari patay na siya. So pinipigilan namin pagkakatawa tapos hanggang napansin kami nung presidente. So pati presidente pumasok doon sa kwarto and akala namin gigisingin na namin kahit dahil ko na magwa 1 o'clock na. Hindi, sabi niya tuloy niyo lang. Lumampas na nga yung 1 o'clock, gigisingin na namin. Sige, lampasan mo yan. Hanggang nagising na yung tao, so tawa lang kami ng tawa. Gano'n lang nangyari doon. The second instance of sleeping was more serious. During my first day sa isang employer ko, we were a manufacturing firm. So, nung gabi, I decided to stay at night. As HR, hawak ko rin ang security during that time. Nag-ikot ako sa rounds kasama ko yung detachment commander. Ito sa grounds namin, meron kaming kumbaga lugar na mataas kung saan pumepwesto yung guard. Parang imagine yun, di ba sa castle, may mga parang kanto nung compound na medyo nasa taas, kailangan magagnan. So tinatawag namin yung guard sa taas, hindi sumasagot. Hanggang ginawa na nung detachment commander, inakyatan na, only to find out, tulog yung gwardiya. So, as typical, sabi ko na lang, kayo na bahala sa agency nyo. You have your own rules, you have your own due process. Hindi ko empleyado niyo yan. So, do whatever it takes. Yan. Pero kung tatanggalin nyo siya sa dito, lilipat nyo lang. That's fine with me. Just have a replacement before tanggalin siya. The last but not the least is situation naman in a hotel setting. So, the employee was caught sleeping by security and trabaho niya, nasa maintenance siya. And he was also a union official. So, not only that, talagang nung nahuli siya ng security, tinakpan niya yung lugar kung saan siya matutulog para hindi siya makita. Sinundan na siya kasi ng CCTV, ng mga guards. So, of course, natural termination yun sa hotel industry, lalo na maintenance yung trabaho niya. But upon further review, the employee was also due for retirement in less than 5 years. So nung diniscuss namin ng management team, one option that I presented was that bakit hindi na lang natin payagan mag-retire, tas kunin na lang niya yung hindi 100% of course yung retirement niya because kulang pa ng less than 5 years. Pero kunin niya yung vesting rights niya. Anyway, wala namang mawawala sa company dahil yung pera naman ng retirement pay niya nandun lang. Ganun. So, I asked the Mancom, specifically my superiors, the general manager, to conduct a backdoor discussion with this employee, of course, outside the company premises. Excuse me. So, which I did. Sabi ko sa kanya, kung gusto mo, mag-retire ka, makuha mo retirement fund mo. Pero syempre, kailangan mag-signify ka na magre-resign ka, magre-retire. So, I'm not forcing you to retire or resign. Option mo yun. Dahil kung hindi, terminate ka na namin. So, eventually, he decided na mag-retire siya and in fact, pinasalamatan pa niya ako dahil pinapapunta siya ng kapatid niya sa Canada and he needed some money just to go to Canada. So, yun yung bad event na naging, in a way, naging good event. Anyway, So yun yung kwento. So I hope you learned from that. The next slide is uh, the objectives that I have written. So I will discuss terms used in discipline management. So this is not about really the due process. This is not the legal that Attorney Alburo recently discussed. So it's more of learning from these terms. Saan nanggagaling yung terms na yun, understanding them, and making them useful and easier for you as far as discipline management is concerned. Also, as far as the HR Cafe is concerned, we also would like to have to know the core principles and objectives of effective discipline, the strategies for building a culture for accountability and ethical behavior, practical steps in implementing a fair and consistent disciplinary process, effective communication techniques for addressing issues and achieving positive outcomes, and importance of integrating discipline management with broader HR practices and organizational culture. Most of this will be tackled, but as Ma'am Tina said, so if you have questions later on, we will have, I believe, an open forum. But just to clarify, this is not about the due process, legal steps, hindi po ito. It's more of understanding sabihin na natin, the background of discipline management. So, with that done with, so let's begin. So the word discipline is derived from the word disciples, which in turn comes from the Latin word discipulus or learner. Therefore, discipline is meant for someone to learn from the experience. Discipline is not really meant to punish a person, but really more to learn. So, ito yung unang tie-up kung bakit tinawag kong pre-Holy Week dahil by the last week of March, we will celebrate Holy Week. And ito yung mga connect, so to speak, kung bakit importante ang discipline management dito sa learning from the words and that of the Holy Week. Okay. So, pag nagdi-discipline kayong tao, it is meant for that person to learn from the experience. Okay? Next. Kaya, kadalasan sinusulat natin sa nagde-decide na tayo whether written warning or suspension, nilalagay natin something like this. We hope this will not be repeated again and you have learned from this experience. Para maasa tayo na hindi na maulit yung ginagawa ng taong violation at natuto na siya doon sa sabihin na natin pagkakamali niya. Kaya it's again about learning. It's not about punishing the person. Okay? And discipline is not, as I mentioned, not really meant to punish. And kung kailangan nyo malaman, hindi natin ginagamit na masyado yung word na penalize yung mga HR So, if you can avoid using the word penalty, so much the better. Kaya ginagamit natin ang word na sanction, which again is a Latin word meaning to sanctify or sanctus rather, yung Latin word. Or, ang ibig sabihin talaga niya is to make one holy. Yun. So, hindi naman ibig sabihin na kailangan maging sa office, maging banal yung tao, although mas magandang ganun. Pero holy in the sense na susundin niya yung mga patakaran ng kumpanya. Hindi na siya mag-violate again. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng sanction, to sanctify the person. Speaking of sanctify, sabi nga ni Ma'am, sino ba nagsabi kanina? Si Ma'am Bonnie sa Netflix. Napanood nyo na ba yung Greatest Night in Pop sa Netflix? So, ito yung documentary tungkol dun sa kantang We Are the World. Okay. So, ang proponent dun and main na nagsasalita dun, I believe you know, yung lalaking nasa second picture on the left. Si Lionel Richie. Si Lionel Richie in turn started off as one of the members of a band called the Commodores. Okay. Actually, pumunta yan dito sa Philippines nung time nila and at least once or even twice ata. And isa sa mga kanta nila, yung nakalagay sa rightmost picture, is I Feel Sanctified. So, baka hindi nyo na alam yan dahil karamihan dito ay millennials, Gen X, Gen Y, and Z. So, tanungin nyo na lang sa nanay at mga tatay nyo kung alam nila yung kantang yan. Okay? Sige. So, sanctify is make holy. Okay. The term penalize naman is rooted in the word penal or pertaining to punishment. It comes from the Greek word poine, which means penalty, punishment, or blood money. So, if you have seen the movie or the play Jesus Christ Superstar, which first appeared in 1971 and its latest iteration was in 2022 at the Regent in London. Isang kanta doon was a song made by Judas Iscariote. Ang sabi niya, I don't want your blood money. Dahil ino-offeran siya ng mga Pharisees na i-betray si Jesus. Una, ayaw niya. Okay. So, yun yung blood money. Yan. So, I think mas familiar kayo sa blood money pag minsan merong Pilipino na nakukulong sa Middle East na sabihin na natin nakapatay, maliban sa kulong, para makalaya siya, magbibigay yung family ng blood money in exchange for the life of the person. So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng blood money. In reality, yung penalty minsan for not following rules of the government, magbabayad ka ng penalty. Katulad sabi nga ni Ma'am Tina, pag hindi nagbayad yung kumpanya or ikaw yung loan, mape-penalize ka by adding interest. Penalty po yun. Okay. So, as much as possible, as I said, wag na po natin gagamitin yung word na penalty sa ating discipline management. So, question is, sino sa office ang pinakaayaw na termination? Dahil ultimately, ang pinaka highest form ng discipline sa work, pag wala ng pag-asa talaga, is to terminate. Sino kaya? So, ang pinakaayaw ng termination sa office, walang iba kundi ang recruitment officer dahil sasabihin ng recruitment officer, mag-hire na naman uli ako ng kapalit. Ayan. So, siya yung mai-stress dahil hiring na naman, lalo na for hard to find applicants for a certain position. Okay. Going back to the terms, so pag nag-investigate ka, that's also coming from two Latin words. The first word is in, meaning into, investigare, or to track or trace the footsteps. So it simply means ang investigation is determine nyo yung steps from step 1, step 2, step 3, kung bakit nangyari yung hindi dapat nangyari or the events that led to that. Kasama rin na rin yung time. What time nagsimula, anong time nagtapos para dun sa incident na yun. So, kadalasan naman kumukuha tayo incident report. So, ma-trace natin mula kung kailan nagsimula at kailan nagtapos using the incident report because we were able to trace the footsteps or track the footsteps of what happened during that incident. Okay. So, yun yung ginagawa basically ng investigation. So, investigation also requires to look for evidence that will back up our decision. Evidencia is also a Latin word meaning obvious. So, sabi, obvious ba? Na alam na natin, ayan, the evidence will speak for itself. Okay. So, pag kunyari, katulad na nasa picture, kung nakakita ng lipstick marks sa kwelyo ng asawa o ng boyfriend, gagamitin siyempre yung evidence against the husband or the boyfriend. Ayan. But remember, evidence is a fact. It is not someone's opinion. Okay. It is a what. Okay. What do we have? Okay. You might also encounter this during part of your discipline management. Mala per se is a term, again Latin, meaning evil in itself or wrong in itself, na needs no further explanation. Katulad ng pag nagnakaw, masama yun. Pagsisinungaling, masama yun. Magtatamper ng records or documents, masama yun. Rape, assault, vandalism, lahat yan, masama yan. Okay. Next, maaari kayong maka-encounter din ng term called mala prohibita. Mala prohibita is hindi pwede yon dahil pinagbabawal. Katulad ng no smoking, gambling, public intoxication, unauthorized entry, one way, yan, ganyan. So, pinagbabawal yan dahil hindi pwede dito sa lugar niyan. In other places, maaring pwede yun. Okay. In other times, maaring pwede yun. But not at this time or this moment or at this place. Okay. Another term you might encounter is de jure and de facto. So de jure is based on rights, it's based on law, and de facto is a reality that's happening, although not necessarily legal or documented, so to speak. There are many examples. One example which I can think of is that whoever is your supervisor or your manager, siya yung susundin mo. Because in terms of your organization table, siya yung boss mo, siya masusunod. Sometimes in reality, there are leaders or say people who give you instructions or people you have to follow who are not necessarily your direct superiors. So nagiging de facto na kailangan mong sundin because of one reason or another, but not necessarily uh, your boss. Okay. Another de jure in terms of discipline management is, for example, may violation that this happens in reality. May violation pero hindi nakalagay sa rules and regulations ninyo. Or maaring hindi nakalagay sa code of discipline. Or in very rare events, hindi pa nakasulat sa labor code. Pero in reality, it may be something that not acceptable to your, should we say, organization or even to your group. Kumbaga, nakaka-offend. This happened in my experience nung sa group chat ng opisina. Wala pa kaming policy on protocols of the group chat. Basta nandun lang yun. So, pero merong isang employee, after bigyan siya ng notice to explain, doon nag-rant sa messenger. Okay. So, nagtataka kami bakit doon niya sasabihin lahat yun. Una, ang pwesto naman niya, tsaka pwesto ko, was only a few meters away. Okay. So, hanggang nagkaroon siya ng bagong kaso tungkol doon, which is even heavier doon sa original case niya. Dahil original kasi pwedeng warning lang siya. Pero dito, the least that can be given to her was suspension. And the worst could have been termination. Dahil uminit na kasi ulo ng boss namin nung time na yun. Okay. So, eventually, actually, napahiya yung tao, nag-resign na lang siya sa company. Okay. And basically, peer pressure niya. So again, yun ang naging ang de facto was the peer pressure. Yung de jure, pwede kasi namin bigyan siya ng termination kung gugustuhin lang ng boss. Pero inunahan na mag-resign para nga magkaroon ng, sabihin na natin, graceful exit. Hindi naman siya pinilit mag-resign. Decision niya yun. Okay. So, other terms that may be useful for you. So, hindi ko na i-discuss to. Nakita ko lang to sa Facebook. You might want to learn this later on. So, just a rundown, ad hoc is for this purpose only. So, interim lang sa carpe diem. I hope that pronounced it correctly. You seize the day. kumbaga, strike while it's hot. Circa around this time, parang circa 1900s, then panahon nila Jose Rizal, 1900s. De facto, from the fact, ergo, therefore, etc. I think you know this. In flagrante delicto, caught in the act. Ipso facto, by that very fact. Mea culpa is my fault. Per se, through itself. Kaya ang kanina ay mala per se. Bad through itself. Pro bono, done without charge. Status quo as is. Terra incognita is unknown land. And vox populi, the voice of the people. Okay. I just want to emphasize pala yung in flagrante delicto. So, merong employee, again, hotel setting, nahuling nagnanakaw ng pera doon sa tip sharing. Okay. So, sabi nung security manager, wag na bigyan ng due process, terminate na agad, dahil nahuli naman caught in the act. Sabi ko, kahit caught in the act yan, the law requires due process. And basically, security, like in the government world, are policemen. But it is not the policemen who are the judge whether to terminate. Pwede nilang sabihin, temporarily i-hold yung tao for investigation, pero hindi pwedeng sabihin na tanggal ka na sa trabaho. It is a judge who decides on what is the decision dun sa tao. And sa corporate, ang magde-decide doon is kung sino yung authorized mag-decide sa company. Kung HR, HR. Kung committee yun, committee. Kung may recommendation lang HR to the GM or the president, then it's the GM or the president. Okay. So, ganun doon. But it is not security who will decide on kung anong discipline na reaction ang bibigay doon sa employee. Okay. So, these are not Latin words, but these are things that might be useful for you in terms of implementing the discipline management on a more bigger or broader scale. So the elements there are on the left. Traditional is on the middle, and positive approaches are on the rightmost screen. If the goal dati is traditional, comply, sumunod ka. Sa positive is yung employee mismo mag-commit na hindi na niya gagawin uli. Okay. Ang focus is on the employee. Ikaw kasi. Pero this time, ang positive approach, ano ba problema mo? Bakit mo ba nagawa yung hindi mo dapat gawin? Okay. Ang magsosolve niyan, of course, yung employee. Ang bibibigay lang ng management or ng supervisor or ng manager is yung guidance or even yung HR bibigay ng guidance. Ang responsible dati sa traditional, ang supervisor. So, binabantay ng supervisor ang employee para hindi na ulitin yun. Pero this time, ang employee may responsible sa sarili niya. Dahil nga, may commitment siya. Ang time frame noon, lagi ang past. Okay. Anong ginawa mo masama? This time, okay, let's forget about what you've done. Let's see what you will do in the future para hindi mo na maulit yan. Communication. If you're familiar dun sa tinatawag na transactional analysis, they have 3 levels of communication. Simply put, parent, adult, and child. Pag parent, yung palautos, gawin mo yan, ganyan. Sundin mo yan, ganun ang parent. Ang child approach naman, gagawin, the same thing, pero lalambingin ka. Yung pa-burger ka naman, para maingganyo kaming gawin yan. Ayan. O pa-Starbucks ka naman. Yun yung approach, palambing effect. Yun. Pero ang adult, is kakusapin mo, walang pataasan ng posisyon. Kahit hamak na rank and file lang siya. Kahit ikaw pa yung vice president of HR. Pag kinausap mo, pantay kayo. Na tinatrato mo siya with respect, tinatrato mo siya as a person, tinatrato mo siya as someone who will reform para hindi na magkamali ulit. Yun ang adult approach. Very, very professional. Okay. Very, very civil for that matter. So, ang process is dati traditional, mapunish ka. Yun nga, penalize eh. Tapos, this time sa positive, gusto mo mag-reform yung tao, magbago. The action taken, as mentioned, is penalty. Now it's sanctioned. Climate, dati authoritarian dahil parent nga. Dito collaborative dahil gusto mo rin tulungan yung tao. Delivery, abrupt, biglaan. Ang approach sa positive, calm. Dahil adult professional nga. Hindi yung takutan. Okay? Ang motivation dati is fear. Yun, takutan nga. And this time sa positive is you want to give the solution to the problem. Pero actually, the solution should come from the employee. You're just guiding the employee to come up with a good solution para hindi na maulit yung kanyang pagkakamali. Okay. So, kung mag-uulit tayo, itong that replay, panoodin natin. Kung maglalagay tayo ng bagong stock, magre-restock tayo. So, kung papanoodin natin, i-view natin uli, we will call it review. And kung babalikan natin yung nakaraan, para sa nakapanood, hindi ko napanood yan, i-rewind natin yung nakaraan. So, where does this lead to? Replay, restock, review, rewind. Well, di ba ganun din ang religion? So we always thought that religion is a belief system with a God. Pero another way of looking at it is that there are two words that we may use. One is yun nga, to go back, rewind, replay, review. And legion, meaning a vast host, multitude, number of people. It also used for a group of soldiers, kaya nagkaroon ng term na foreign legion ng French. And nagagamit din yan to levy, to choose kung sinong gusto mong samahan. It can also be used as a term of legion is my, their, ours, or we, they, are many. So in short, legion is a group. Okay. So if we put those two words together, is that we want to go back to the group. So from the usual religion point of view, yung mga taong na-astray, gusto nating bumalik sa religion. Or sabi nga yung isang tupa na nawawala sa flock, ibabalik natin siya sa flock. So, religion, yung legion ng flock. Okay. So, sa office, pag may employee na sabihin na natin na hihiwalay ng landas, nagkakamali, nagba-violate, so ibabalik natin yan sa culture ng company. Babalik natin sa normal flow ng company para maiwasan na sa kanya yung mga violations niya. And that is part of the discipline process. In addition, I think you know what this is. This is what? A cross, di ba? Which is symbolizes Christianity. Okay. Pero there's also another way of, should we say, using that for your discipline management. And how do you use it? When an employee does something wrong, does something bad, we put that person to the other side by doing right and doing good. So, imbis na yung cross na noun, yung cross na noun, ganun, we use the cross as a verb. We have the person cross from doing bad, doing wrong, iko-cross natin siya, doing right, doing good. In short, itatawid natin. Tutulungan natin, itawid yung tao. And that is crossing the person to the good side, to the right side. Okay. So, if people ask forgiveness from God or from Jesus or from whoever they believe should ask forgiveness, tayo naman sa work, tulungan natin yung tao, seek amends with the whole company by realizing yung faults niya and telling them what they need to do para they can go back to the fold. And we help them in the same way that Jesus or God helps us go back sa ating good self. Yan. Dahil pag nagawa natin yun, you don't only necessarily pray at church. Many people pray at the office. And because if you do that, there is more better, should we say, samahan sa trabaho. Okay, in my experience, regardless of whatever our specific religious beliefs, we are able to do that. Okay, and it leads to better relations. And when better relations, better teamwork, better cooperation, even between management and the rank and file. So yung culture na gusto ng company, na gusto ng management, na the productivity of a company is based on the good output of everyone in the office, is because it is based on everybody following the rules, everybody online, everybody following the path that was designed. And one way of doing that is having a good discipline management system. May I just add here that there is a company that introduced its own brand of chocolates in 1979, selling first in Italy, and by 1982, selling it throughout Europe. The brand was created by a man called, actually lalaki yan, I believe it's pronounced Michel, because it's Italian, and he passed away in 2015. Yung brand niya kanya, chocolate niya, una, ginamit niya yung family name niya sa first word. Yung second word, although he's Italian, gumamit naman siya na French word for rock or boulder. Pinili niya yung second word na yun because he was a devout Catholic and tribute niya yun sa grotto sa Lourdes. Yung Lourdes kasi, Lourdes in France rather, is famous for healing because kanyon yung lugar na yun parang cave, mabato yun eh. Hindi ka na yun. Okay. So, kilala nyo ba kung sino yung man na yan who created this very famous chocolate that many people love, lalo na nung Valentine's Day, I think, nagkaubusan yan, nagbigayan yan. Sirit na ba kayo? Ito po yan. None other than Michael Ferrero. Sabi ng daughter ko, ganun ang pag-pronounce ng family. Ferrero. Pag double R sa Italian, ganun yung emphasis. And not only that, the company that he established also makes Nutella, makes Tic Tac, and makes the Kinder Surprise. Actually, na-surprise talaga ako na yun rin pala ang products ng kanyang company. And because he was good-natured man, having good belief system, yung success ng company niya is because of good discipline, and good discipline because of they have good culture of how to deal with people. Yan. So, hopefully, magawa natin yan. And that's it. So, I hope dun sa discussion ko, no matter how brief it was, na intindihan po natin. So, let's have a question and answer forum, if we may. Ma'am Tina, Sir Darwin, Sir Ollie, Ma'am Bonnie, Sir Ray. Yan.
Thank you so much for this lovely presentation. Marami pong nagtatanong doon sa ating sa ating chat box. So sa mga taong tanong kay Sir Bong, you have 35 years of experience. You worked in so many different industries here in the Philippines. What do you think is the most effective? I have a feeling it's the adult. Pero why is it so difficult for managers and leaders to reach to that stage? Karamihan nagpipikunan muna, nagsisigawan, nag-aasaran when it comes to discipline management sa isang kumpanya ng Pilipinas. Could you give us an advice on how we can reach that adult stage? Kasi minsan talaga sa sobrang bad faith from both sides, talagang nagpipikunan at nag-aasaran sila araw-araw. Hindi kompleto ang araw pag walang nagagalit. Sir Bong.
Very relevant question, Ma'am Tina. From my point of view, I think I have to blame kung paano tayo na brought up. Both from our family, parents, also kasama na doon yung barkada, but also from the education point of view.
Mm.
Hindi pa ako nakakita, except on MBA,
Mm.
na tinuturuan yung mga, sabihin na natin, employee, especially those with potential leadership skills,
Mm.
on how to be professional. Or
Mm.
isdamay na rin natin sa onboarding na meron tayong, should we say, um, time to onboard everyone, even the, sabihin na natin, the janitor, the security guard,
Mm.
about how to be professionals, how to
Mm.
be adult. Paano kasi hindi
Mm.
nila natutunan yan nung past eh. Tatandaan
Mm.
natin, napakadali magturo ng skill.
Mm.
Pero yung attitude na pinagkalakihan mo na, ako, ang
Mm.
hirap-hirap baguhin nun kung kaya nyo pang baguhin. Or kahit
Mm.
ma-modify nyo lang kahit 50%, napakahirap yun. Which
Mm.
leads me to this, that's something na, um, I'm sorry kung kaninong generation na matatamaan, pero kasi kami, baby boomer kami. So, yung
Mm.
GMRC, tinuturo pa sa generation namin yun. So, parang hinahanap na ng mga daming tao yun eh. Kasama na yung
Mm.
sinabi niyo nung una, nung nag-uusap pa kayo, na discipline. Paano magkakaroon ng discipline? Eh, wala nga GMRC in the first place eh. Bakit ba na mag-jaywalking? Bakit ba nagva-violate, for example, nung bus lane? Bakit nagkakaroon ng corruption? Bakit lahat yan eh? Connect-connect
Mm.
yan. Yung mga countries na sinabi mo, maliban doon sa enforcement aspect, paano kasi
Mm.
pinapalaki sila ng ganun, bata pa sila eh. Yun ang,
Mm.
yun ang point of view ko. So, ang intervention na siguro kayang gawin ng HR from an HR point of view is that magkaroon kayo ng onboarding or even sama nyo sa team building kung gusto nyo, wherein you teach all employees about adult-adult. And i-reinforce yun sa mga supervisors, team leaders, foremen, managers, vice president on how to conduct adult-adult relations with employees. Kasama na
Mm.
dyan, sabihin na natin, yung nagmumura sa opisina, ganun-ganon.
Mm.
Hindi nagagalit pa yun ha. Natural lang sa kanya na magmura. Pero is it part of the culture that the company wants to espouse? Sad to say, may kilala ako. He's the owner of a certain company. And sabihin na natin, he's a very religious person. Pero
Mm.
pagdating sa opisina, yung bibig na talaga, mabilis magmura. Ganun, unfortunate for that. So, yun ang kwan ko. That's my take.
Mm. Mm. Okay. Meron pong nagtatanong din po, like for example na lang kasi medyo ano, yung sa COE, 'di ba nakasulat is yung start date, yung end date, and then yung role. Although DOLE Labor Advisory number 6 series of 2020 is very quiet on what else to add. So minsan may mga employers na nagdadagdag na etong tao na to na terminate for gross negligence or gross and habitual tardiness, for example. What is your stand for these gray areas na wala namang sa batas? Pero as we can see, may konting asaran. And hindi rin magagamit ng staff yung COE niya kasi nakasulat dyan kung gaano siya kapasaway nung time sa previous employer niya. Ito yung case Sir Leonardo Medina.
Very good question.
Ano?
As mentioned by Ma'am Tina, and I think Leo was the one who was asking that. This is definitely a gray area as far as the implementation of DOLE is concerned. Okay. Personally, kung titignan ko from an adult point of view, on a professional point of view, hindi ko ilalagay yung magaganon. Because you'll just put basic information about the person. For sure, merong mga employees na kahit nanggigigil ka na as HR, gustong-gusto mong ilagay yun. Dahil gusto mong, didiinin kita ngayon. Ayaw ko makahanap ka ng trabaho. Ganun. Pero remember, at the end of the day, the person has to feed either him or herself, or maybe even a family member. Yun ba gusto mong mangyari? Gusto mo ba bang umabot sa DOLE? Or even worse, gusto mo bang itulfo ka? Parang It's an unnecessary sakit ng ulo as far as I am concerned. Dati
Mm.
pinag-uusapan na ng PMAP, gumawa nga tayo ng blacklist, database na kung saan yung mga employees, pupunta lang yung mga employer. Si Juan de la Cruz, may ganito palang kaso sa dati niyang employer. That never materialized. Tapos dumating pa yung data privacy, di magkakalintik-lintikan na tayo. So
Mm.
again, given the choice, ako as a HR practitioner, I would not. Siyempre kayo, you decide on your own kung ano gusto nyo gawin. But again, everything has a consequence. If you do this, may consequence. If you don't do that, may consequence. So, kung ang tanong naman, kung ikaw naman yung nasa receiving end nung ganong klaseng COE, anong gagawin mo? Well, you can probably first ask the person who gave that to you, pwede nyo ho bang tanggalin yan because I need to find work. Pag ayaw pa rin, your options are, if you have enough funds, so to speak, you find a lawyer to help you. Or kung gusto mong medyo libre, punta ka sa PAW. Kaya lang, mahaba yung proseso sa PAW. Or, kung gusto mong dali sa DOLE para maging test case sa DOLE ang once and for all, malay mo, umabot pa sa Supreme Court. So, ang mga HR practitioner, magde-decide ang SC kung ano gagawin. So, magkakaroon na tayo ng future guidance. Maganda yun. So far, wala pa ako nakikitang ganun. Unless you know something that I don't. So, that's my answer to that.
Okay.
Yes. Tina, if I may add to what Sir Bong just said, no, I totally agree with what he said. Even without the labor advisory, we in human resources should act professionally in behalf of the business. Because remember that our office represents the entire reputation of the business that we are representing. Now, second, whether it is personal or not, I think it still aligns to the professional aspect of being an HR practitioner, not to put anything unnecessary on the COE. Kasi unang-una, you have to consider the fact that your organization played a very big factor in the person's behavior. Tama nga naman, sabi ni Sir Bong, lahat tayo lumaki sa kanya-kanyang background, no? Kanya-kanyang pinanggalingan. Pero the environment where we are in also plays a big factor into molding our character. May mga ibang tao lang siguro na mahina yung karakter nila kung saan sila lumaki. Kaya pagdating sa kumpanya kung saan sila na-hire, they tend to be more abrasive. Kaya nga nung kanina, nung pinag-usapan natin yung aligning our personal values to organizational culture, it is more towards organizational fit or organizational contribution. Ikaw na coming from a different culture, what can you contribute to the organization's culture? Kasi iba-iba pa rin tayo ng pinanggalingan, and even if we say that we are culturally fit, the question now is, what can you contribute? Fit ka nga, pero what else can you contribute? So I think this is where the mismatch in terms of organizational or culture contribution comes in largely. So hindi lang siya pagiging fit, but pagiging contributor to the organization. Kaya nga, I agree also with Sir Bong. I was just reminded about years ago, I started to be active in PMAP Cebu in 2005. And it was already a big talk, no, to create a database wherein all shady characters in terms of employment should be placed in. Ang tingin kasi natin doon is para bang naging union yung PMAP in a way, para we're unionizing ourselves against pasaway employee. But then a very what do you call it, intimate wisdom came in after that initiative, no, na what chance are we giving the former employees who was pasaway to become a better employee? O yun. So, dito papasok yung pagiging, siguro on the personal side of it, dito papasok na yung pagiging Kristiyano natin o pagiging taong bukas ang loob sa pagbabago. So, what chance are we going to give those former employees who were pasaway, but later on, baka makahanap sila ng organization in which they can contribute more, not only just being fit. Ayun. Kaya ang ganda po ng very timely nga po yung mga quotes kanina to the topic of our for this afternoon in our HR cafe. May tanong lang po kung isa, Sir Bong, no, other than what I have said in support of what you just presented.
Yes, Sir Oli.
Meron na po bang kumpanya that you know that they were how do you call this? How do I put it in this way na an organization wherein the leadership in itself was the problem, and then amongst leadership they don't want to do anything about it kasi they're all leaders. So meron na po bang uh, kumpanya kayong napagdaanan na ganun? Kasi na-mention niyo po kanina na meron nga kayong isang business leader na alam na nagmumura parati, no? But then does not allow it, o parang ganun po. So meron pa po ba tayong organization na nakasalubong na ganun yung kultura, and what did the organization do about it in terms of the leadership? Ano po
Again,
yung solution?
thank you for the nice question. Sa totoo lang, Sir Oli, marami ko. Ako kasi, kilala ako ni Ma'am Tina. I'm a frank, direct person. Wala akong pakialam kung yung posisyon mo. Ganun. Okay. Siguro I'll give this one example that's directly related to discipline management. I had a GM na who is married na sabihin na infatuate sa isang female factory worker. So yun. So to cut the long story short, lumusob yung misis niya sa opisina. Laking pasalamat ko, wala ako doon. Wala rin yung staff nung time na yun. Okay. Tanong kasi 3 planta yung nahawakan ko noon eh. I was in another plant. Okay. In a different city and region altogether. So the next day, sinabi sa akin ng mga kasama ko doon, "Uy, Bong, alam mo ba yung nangyari?" So, kinento na. Okay. Okay. So, gumadala ako. Okay. O, sige. So, mamaya, tumawag na sa amin yung presidente, a lady president, kumbaga, yung may-ari ng kumpanya, kung tutusin. Yung boss namin lahat, pati boss ng GM. Okay. Sinasabi kasi ng iba, Bong, imbestigahan mo yan. Bakit imbestigahan niya? Boss ko yan. Anong authority ko doon? So, tasaraan ko niya sa akin, sabi ko. Problema niya yun, hindi ko problema yun. Ginaganon ko na lang. Dahil ayoko ma-involve eh. Okay. Parang it's so complicated, sabi nga natin. Parang Facebook, complicated. Tumawag yung presidente. Bong, imbestigahan mo yan. Sige ma'am. Wala lang akong magawa. So sabi ko na lang, lumapit ako sa GM. Very, very discreet. Sir, pwede ho ba tayong mag-usap sa Starbucks? Sabi niya agad, tungkol yan doon sa yan. Sir. Yan. Pumayag naman siya. Dahil actually, doon sa office, parang magkakabarkada kami nung kan eh. Lahat ng managers, including the GM. Dahil ganun siya eh. So, usap kami sa Starbucks. Ito, ako na una ratsyada. Tak. So, sabi nga nung GM, ikaw talaga Bong, diretso ka. Sir, alam nyo, kilala nyo ako. Diretso akong tao. Hindi ako nagpapaligoy-ligo. Prangka ako. Wala akong pakialam sa posisyon nyo. Pero ganun yan. Tapos sabi niya, ano gagawin natin? Being that I am also, sir, meron na akong exit strategy para sa inyo. Ganito gagawin natin ha. Step 1, ito. Step 2, ganito. Step 3, ganito. Step, yan. So, dekaho na, ready na. Sabihin nyo lang, sir, implement natin yan. And there was nothing illegal. And it was not really due process na. It was all, parang back-end solutions. Okay. So, ano yung back-end solutions na yun? Baka kasi magtaka kayo. Una, hihiwalayan na nung GM yung babae. Isa. Okay, good. Pangalawa, sige, if there's something intervention magagawa kayo within your family, better. Good. Alam nyo, nag-decide sila mag-trip ng 2 weeks to Europe. Good. Sabi ko. Third, ano gagawin natin sa babae? Ako kakausap. Paano kasi nagkataon, agency worker din siya noong time na yun. So, sabi ko lang sa may-ari ng agency, which was my friend, ilipat mo na lang. Gusto ko the next day may trabaho siya. Ganun. Oh, by the way, pati yung babae may asawa. Nakausap ko rin 'yun sa isang burger joint, hindi sa opisina. Dahil nabalitaan na rin niya. Okay. So inayos ko rin 'yun. Galit na galit. Okay, inayos ko na rin 'yun.
May
So,
tanong tayo tungkol sa mental health, right? Kasi this is all, like, the problems that an HR officer typically handle are sometimes out of the books and out of this world. Lalong-lalo na when you are in the Philippines. Yung mga tipong akala mo doon lang sa radyo lang nangyayari din sa company niyo. So the question is to Doc Ray and Ma'am Bonnie and Sir Bong, paano naman ang mental health ng manager and owner and management? Kasi oftentimes in the Philippine HR group, laging sinasabi, kawawa naman mga mental health ng mga employees, yung mga subordinates, yung mga rank and file, with the assumption that the management is evil. But coming from having managed people as well, you are on the other side of the fence na minsan ang hirap i-move ang isang elepante. Yung hindi mo talaga pasaway, very stubborn, alam na nga niya na bawal malate pa rin. Alam na nga niya na bawal gumawa ng ganito, gagawin pa rin kung makalusot. Tapos pag nahuli na, ayaw pang umamin. There are many cases in Philippines na talagang yung employee sobrang sakit ng ulo, and it's really a matter of, if you side too much on the employee being too humanitarian, it is your manager who also suffers and will quit and resign. And it's so difficult to replace a very capable manager, especially in a very highly technical position, who can capably also manage subordinates. Mas madaling maghanap ng factory worker versus isang manager na ginagawa lang yung trabaho niya, pero talaga ang tigas lang ng ulo ng mga empleyado kasi mas marami sila. And pag umalis yung tao na yon, mas mahirap para sa buong kumpanya, malaki yung loss. How would you handle it coming from a different side of the fence? O sige, coaches, alam ko mahirap, pero alam mo totoo.
Can I go for one for this, Tina?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Well, just for everybody's information, well, I'm also the head of an HR department in one of the academic institutions in the Philippines. So, and it is my current situation right now. I am experiencing the same. Now, I'd like to take it into perspective of myself, my well-being, my mental health,
Correct.
and then the
Yes.
well-being of the other side of the people working with me. Unang-una, I know already my limitation. And before I entered into this profession, or should I say before I accepted the job, I have prepared myself on what I'm going to face. So for the long and short of it is that I have resolved all the issues that I have in myself personally. Now, if there will be any in the future that will arise out of this situation I am in right now, I have also prepared myself mentally that I have to address it alone. No one else in the world can help me address it but myself. Should I hang myself later on out of frustration? Then that's up to me, because I did that to myself. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. What I'm trying to say is, if worst comes to worst and I do that, it's because even up to that point, I made that decision. So ngayon pa lang sinasabi ko to myself that I have to accept the fact that I have my limitations. I'm only up to this point, and I have to call a friend if I have to. And I have already listed down the friends that I am going to call for particular cases. For example, something to do with training. Ito yung mga taong tatawagan ko. Something to do with personal life. Ito yung mga taong tatawagan ko. I will not broadcast it to the rest of the people that I know. Especially for someone like me, I'm very active in the fraternity that I joined. Hindi ko pagkakalat yung problema ko, pero may pipiliin akong tao na alam kong pwede kong kausapin anytime. So that's how I manage my own limitations. Kasi when you do not accept the fact that you have limitations, you believe that you are Superman, nako, you will end up frustrated. You will end up devastated. when you look at the mirror and you see Clark Kent, hindi po yan ibig sabihin na Superman ka. Clark Kent ka lang, nagkataon lang na bininyagan ka ng Diyos na maging pogi. That's it, but you're not Superman. So meaning, meron kang panghihina, meron kang Achilles heel. You have to
Meron kang
accept your
kryptonite.
Achilles heel. Yes, you have to accept that. Meron na po ako, Sir Bong, listahan ng mga pangalan ng taong tatawagan ko on a particular issue that I will ever have in the later on in life. Kung about family, ito yung tatawagan ko. Kung about kids, ito yung tatawagan ko. Kung about work, what particular about work, my boss, my peers, or the people I reports to me, ito yung mga taong tatawagan ko. So I already have prepared myself for that. The other side of the perspective naman, it's exactly what I say to the people I work with, especially the closer ones. You know, whenever I see something, sign of frustration, binubulungan ko kagad sabihin ko na, alam mo pare, mas maganda if you find a friend you can talk to, because I don't think you are open to talk to me about this. I may not be able to understand. If I'm the right person, tingin mo I'm the right person, I may not be able to understand. Siguro mas maganda if you talk to other person as well. Tapos I have a small exercise to manifest, to generate manifestation on writing people to call in case of emergency. Sabi ko, even as little as borrowing money nga is borrowing money, dapat may listahan ka ng bangko. Sino yung unang-unang bangko magpapautang sa'yo? Dapat meron ka ng ganun. So, these are the things that on the perspective of the other person, these are the things that I try to facilitate. Kasi sabi nga nila, di ba, nobody can be a hero to somebody else. No, nobody can be a hero to somebody else. But everybody has the possibility to be a hero to someone. And that applies to us as well. Tayo sa HR, tayo yung tingin nila sa atin, tayo parang hindi parang malunggay na anytime pwede mong gamitin, pwede mong pitasin kahit saan, pipitasin mo para tayong malunggay. But in reality as it, para man tayong ipil-ipil, hindi po tayo malunggay, tayo po ipil-ipil. May limitasyon yung kakayanan natin. So whenever I talk to other HRs, that's exactly what I tell them. You're not malunggay, you are ipil-ipil. May limitasyon ka. Hindi lahat ng bagay pwedeng pitasin sa'yo. So, well, thank you, Tina. Back to you.
Yeah, go ahead. Kasi it's sometimes you, as an owner or management, you have to also focus on the mental health of management. Kasi sometimes, sa sobrang iyak ng mga rank and file, parang akala mo wala silang kasalanan lahat ng management, kaya sila pasaway. Doc Ray, Ma'am Bonnie?
Pag HR ka, you have to be in the middle, and that's the hardest part. I remember, it's the hardest part of being HR. You, parang even the image of you not being in the middle, parang it's parang it's already a sin. Kunyari, if you are
Pinabayaan mo lang.
Correct. If you are seen more with the managers, the employees will say, ay, ano naman yan, bias naman yan sa mga managers. If you are seen more with the employees, ganun ang sasabihin sa'yo ng mga managers, ay, ano naman yan talagang kinakampihan niya yung mga employees, no? Kaya ganyan. Oo, so tama si Oli na may mental health yung mga manager, may mental health yung mga employees, may mental health din si HR. Alam mo, it's a good discussion because when I was in HR, walang nagtanong about my mental health.
Kasi malunggay ka malunggay ka, lahat pwedeng pitasin sa'yo.
Parang dapat hero tayo, no? Parang dapat strong tayo, and it's also, I understand yung mga managers na bakit ako yung parating magpapasensya? Bakit ako yung parating kailangan mag-coach dito sa taong ito? Bakit ako? Kasama talaga yun sa role natin as leaders, whether we like it or not. I mean, the reason why they are not leaders yet is because they have not come up to that level yet na tatanggapin na nila yung ganong responsibility. And so, totally understand the frustrations of a lot of leaders when they when they are disciplining someone and then parang sila pa yung masama, because I believe we have all been there. We have all been there. Yung, teka lang, ginagawa ko na nga lang yung trabaho ko eh. I am having full integrity here. Pagkatapos, magkakalat pa ng chismis yan. Ikaw pa yung masama. At syempre, dahil ikaw yung leader, hindi ka syempre pwedeng magkalat ng chismis, di ba? Kailangan quiet ka. Kasi pag nagkalat ka ng chismis, di ba, parang ikaw talaga yung masama. Pwede ka pang masabihan, di ba? So, yeah, totally understand. And tama si Oli, you need to have parang circle of trust, di ba, that you can talk to. Na kapag ito yung kinausap mo, preferably wala inside the company. Wala siya inside the company. Yung walang connection inside the company, leaders, managers, HR heads, have that kind of person na walang contact dun sa company nyo, na kahit magsalita ka about anything, hindi siya makakarating dun sa company nyo. Kasi wala eh, kailangan mo talaga ng outlet eh. Tapos while you're inside the company, I believe yung mental health talaga dyan na kailangan mo is documentation is key talaga. We all know that as HR and as leaders, documentation is key. Parang remove the emotions out of all of, kahit i-accuse ka, kahit anong accusation sa'yo, whatever. Puntahan natin yung documentations. Puntahan natin yung legal documents. Puntahan natin yung mga emails. Puntahan natin yung mga chats. Ayan. Kaya importante na kahit yung mental health natin talaga, hirap na tayo, silence is a great strategy. Silence is an amazing long-term strategy. Kasi kapag binalikan lahat ng mga emails, binalikan lahat ng documentations, binalikan lahat ng chats, makikita na, wow, nagpasensya ka talaga ng sobra-sobra. Ito talagang empleyado yung pasaway. Diba? So, kahit baliktarin ka, paulit-ulit, kahit ipagkalat pa nila, kahit ipagchismisan ka, you have been really parang andun ka dun sa silence is a long-term strategy mo. Ano pa masasabi ng mga tao sa'yo? Diba? Parang you're doing your job. Diba? You're doing your job with integrity. And keeping your silence all the time. Kasi nga, you don't want anything else you don't want anything else to place the employee or anyone at risk pa, especially the company. So, say what you need to say what you want to say, let that be the final communication. Diba? Pag meron ka ng decision, ilatag mo na yung decision. Let that be the final decision. And then, move forward from there and then employ silence as a long-term strategy. Ayun.
We have a question on the floor, Sir Bong. We can
Abo,
answer that.
Ma'am Tina, before we go to that, may I just add doon sa discussion
Go
na
ahead.
yon? Okay. I just hope kung may circle of friends kayo, hindi ito yung listahan ng circle of friends nyo na you go to. Unang-una sa listahan, si Miguel o si San Miguel, whether pale, pilsen or light, or si Alfonso na light din, or si Tanduay, or any of those. Kidding aside, I will admit, and I'm not embarrassed or ashamed to admit, I had depression, not once, not twice, but thrice, and not that depression that will last 1 week. My depression lasted in years to the point na apektuhan ng family ko, and it was related directly to my profession. Okay, so what kept me afloat? First, that kept me afloat is a friend that we can call up to, and he's the guy up there. Regardless of whether you're Christian, you're Muslim, you're a Jew, you're a Buddhist, or whatever, you believe in some divine providence, and that person up there will help you go through whatever difficulties you may have. Okay. Number 2. Okay. I strongly suggest that maybe Philippine HR Group, HR Cafe, will have a mental health for HR people. specifically for HR people. And this time, bootcamp yun, hindi pwedeng online because yun eh, may face-to-face yun. If I may add, kung gusto nyo ako tumulong doon, because just last Friday, I became a consultant for a certain group of people or a company that was one of the resource persons who wrote the mental health law in the Philippines.
Mm.
So gusto nyo mag-tie up tayo, we can discuss this on a separate time. Magawa tayong bootcamp, mental health for HR professionals. Yun. Let's try to do that. So, yun lang.
Maganda yun.
So, let's go back to your question, Ma'am Tina.
We've talked about giving people another chance repeatedly. And the question of Sir Gary Arabejo, in your experience, lalo na decades of experience collectively, what if yung
Yes.
offense na nagawa ng employee involves fraud, lalong-lalo na when nagnakaw ng pera? Would you ever give them a second chance?
Yes.
Okay.
We're talking about Philippines, ha? So,
Mm.
sa dami
Okay.
ng nag-reform. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead, Sir
Okay.
Bong.
As mentioned a while ago, yung mala per se and mala prohibita, ito nagfo-fall sa mala per se. There's no such thing as a second chance. Parang sinabi ko kanina yung gwardiya na natutulog. Gwardiya yun natutulog. Maintenance guy natutulog. Walang second chance doon. Pero sa iba, sabi nyo nga, kung kunyari ordinary stock clerk lang siya na nakatulog sa stock room or sa CR, baka pwede nyo pang pagbigyan. Pero this time, there are things, stealing, padding, falsification of documents. These are no-nos. Kahit yung pagnanakaw ng isang pencil sa kumpanya, nilalabas niya nang walang paalam. That's stealing. It just happens to, the amount is less than 50 pesos. But it's still stealing. Malaman nyo ba kung ano pa natakaw niya na hindi nyo alam? O, ganun. So, walang second chance doon. Pwede ko ba siyang bigyan ng second chance na gusto mo kung mag-resign siya, ako papayagan ko. Ako, not necessarily my boss. Para lang maiwasan yung dole kung sakaling pupunta doon. Yun, that's my answer.
Your mentors?
If I may add to that, Tina, while I agree with Sir Bong saying that there's no room for second chance of somebody who stole, we have to apply logic as well. Kasi logic police tayo as HR. If the amount is way beyond how do you call this, tolerance, and then baliktad, no? The number one requirement is that the role is a matter of trust, meaning meron kang nasa position ka ng trust at nagnakaw ka, then I don't see any second chance for that. No, second that we need to consider, even if the amount is very small, that you can tolerate it, the fact that the position is present, meaning the position of trust is present, then I don't see any second chance for that. However, for small things out of ignorance, for example, yung naibulsa yung hand sanitizer, at paglabas ng, totoo to in one of the hospitals I worked with in the past, yung mga nurses namin, pag umuwi, yung hand sanitizer, di pa uso yung COVID that time, nalalagay sa bulsa. Minsan pag kinakapa sila ng guard, nakuhuling merong used na hand sanitizer sa bulsa. So kinakasuhan ka agad. So we need to be logic police at the same time. Kasi if that act was out of ignorance, ang importante kasi for not giving second chances, if the position was a matter of trust, and trust doesn't have to be in a level, no? Hindi pwedeng sabihin na manager ka lang and then so on. Hindi. In fact, a simple cashier is already a position of trust. Kasi kinuha ka as cashier, nandun ka, nagbibilang ka lang pera. Kung nagdakaw ka lang 100, wala po yung pinagkaiba sa 1 million. Kasi position of trust po yun eh. Tapos, kaya position of trust na conductor, isa rin yun. Mababang position, mababang level, pero the trust is present in that position of trust. Now, pagdating naman sa COE, pagdating sa COE, sa feedback, give the person a second chance, no matter the amount that was stolen. Whether if the position where the person was terminated from was a position of trust, pagdating po sa background check at sa COE, Huwag niyo namang ilagay doon na nagnakaw o terminated due to serious grave misconduct. Lalong na pag may nag-background check, give him a good feedback kasi not everybody not everybody will ever encounter a second chance in their life. Most often than not, yung nagnakaw na yun, may problema, nagkaroon ng issue sa family. 'Di ba? Kasi kung married yung nagnakaw, una niyang haharapin maliban sa pulis, yung asawa niya. 'Di ba? Magkakaroon siya ng problema sa asawa niya, pangalawa sa mga anak niya, paano niya haharapin yung mga anak niya. So I think in this manner, pagdating sa second chance, na-terminate na and then so on at tumawag sa inyo, bigyan nyo naman siya ng mabuting feedback and focus on the competencies and the work that the person has achieved in the organization. Ngayon, kung sakaling mabigat yung kaso ng pagnanakaw, do it in a proper forum. Meaning, kasuhan nyo ng tama. Maliban lang sa NTE, maliban lang sa due process, kung malaki yung ninakaw, din kasuhan nyo ng maayos. Para pagka nag-background check, hindi magagaling sa opisina nyo yung facts of the truth na nagnakaw siya. So, again, I do not disagree with Sir Bong. Tama naman yun. There's no such thing as 1,000 over 1 million, may pinagkaiba. But then again, consider the position of trust. No, then of course, be a logic police. Consider as well kung ano ba yung ninakaw at paano nanakaw. Kasi magkaiba po yan doon sa tinago mo sa bag yung isang sobre ng pera sa isang sobre ng pera na ano ba yun, na naiabot lang sa iyo, no? So may pagkakaiba po siya. Okay, back to you, Tina. Perhaps we can ask Ma'am Bonnie and Sir Ray.
Yeah,
Sir Ray,
I've terminated people for actually using 50 pesos from the cashier to buy a snack.
Oo, kasi
Kasi it's
position
very
of trust yun
common.
eh.
No, regardless. Kasi I've put it this way. Di ba we talked about culture before? And it depends on the type of culture that you want to paint for your company, on how much discipline you want tolerated inside the company. So I think managers would have to make a choice as to whether they want the policies to be strict, traditional, or loose, more liberal. Kasi
Pero
you
tama ka, Tina.
attract
Oh.
different groups of people eh. 'Di ba? Like if you are a very traditional person who wants order, organized, strictness, you would prefer to have less tolerance for parang dishonesty.
Yes, that's true.
Ayaw mo, you want to work in a company where if something went wrong, management will take action accordingly. Kasi used to
Pero tama yung
believe-
ginawa mo. Kasi kumuha
Diba?
sa cashier eh. Sa cashier kinuha, binuksan yung cashier at kinuha yung 50 pesos.
Hindi, it
Tama lang
depends
na
on the
ma-terminate.
culture. It really depends on the culture of the company.
Yeah.
Kasi there are some culture that is more progressive, liberal, open, right? Who are more tolerant. And they would prefer that there is more grace and mercy. So culture is really very important of how strict do you want your company to be. Kasi for example, in my company, I attract people who are medyo may pagka-religious, have a very strong sense of right and wrong, and they will leave me if I tolerate any sort of dishonesty. Because they want to work with people who are completely honest. They want to leave their bags on the chair and they want to make sure nobody is taking. And they feel so uncomfortable to the point of resigning if they feel that the management does not take action. But there's also a different type of company na hindi ka ba maawa? I want to help others. I want to be kung kailangan niya ng pera, papahiramin ko siya. Basta makapasok lang. Kahit magkamali siya, I will reform that person. So, if the person naman joins your company, they will leave. Likewise, if a person who is more traditional joins a more liberal company, they will also leave. It is really a matter of what type of culture management wants to paint. And sa akin lang, ang daming umalis. Ang dami talagang umalis because of the policy. We're very strict with absence without leave. We're very strict with stealing. We're very strict with dishonesty and lying. Sobra. We would actually talk to a person for an hour just to get to the facts. Whereas some people will say, I don't want to bother because, I have too many other things to do. But I think like for the first year, it was so difficult for us to find people because attrition rate was so high. But there was a turning point, and we found a lot of people who thought the same way. And these people, when they leave us, they always come back because they realize that there is a unique selling point in our company, in the type of culture we have, that they feel so safe because everyone follows the certain rule and regulation. So it doesn't, I mean, may pro and con eh, hindi ba? You have a lot of people leaving, but those who stay long, and they love the culture of that company because it parang logically it follows their brain system. And as a result, it's so quiet. We have 30,000 products in 30 stores, or maybe 50,000. For a given month, we don't have any stealing. We have zero instances of absence without leave because those who do commit it actually leave. Because everyone else is so protective of that type of culture. So I mean, it depends on what type of, there is no right or wrong answer, but it's just a flip side lang on, parang as management, what type of company do you want to work with and work for, and the people you want to work with and work for, because these are the people you see more than your husbands and your kids, right? And if you it's about values and how much to pay. Kasi ang sakit minsan, may umalis kasi ayaw nila sa culture, masyado daw strict, lalo na pagdating sa sick leave. Pati pa naman ng sakit ng ulo, kailangan pa ng medical certificate. But we don't have any problems with absences. Like on a given 365 days, my managers and the subordinates don't have issues with people not showing up to work because everyone who remains in the company are reliable when it comes to attendance. And if they're not reliable, they don't join us. I mean, that's our experience lang in retail. Kasi, so that's the reason why it's such a pleasure to report to work, because we focus more on the work and not on the drama of managing people, because we have a very strict sense of discipline and policies to follow. And it's not for everyone. It's really not for everyone, kasi if management can't get their get themselves together and are not strong enough, you can't elicit change eh. Dadami yung pasaway kaysa yung management. I mean, just Doc Ray, how's your experience naman?
So I love really listening to
Iba-ibang
all of the.
culture, right? Iba-ibang culture. That's why we're all here. Iba-ibang culture, iba-ibang experiences. So for us lang kasi
Yeah.
I don't want to have too much drama in the office. Eh. It's not my job, yeah. Doc Ray.
Pretty much similar, Tina, in terms of the culture, we would want definitely to reinforce the call of the core values of the organization. So those ones who are not aligned at some point, right, then they're not they're free to leave the organization. So I think so. I love listening to all of the stories and all of the experiences that you shared earlier. And I wish we had more time, even if we are at the top of the hour at this point. But there's a lot of things that resonated with me, and especially those ones that were mentioned by Sir Bong. Like looking, I mean, one of the key things, and they like looking at the most of the time looking at the employees before, and now the focus should be looking at the problem, right? And I would always say that, hey, when you look at the Deming principle, which is 946 principle, that most of the problems in the organization, um, especially if people are behaving the same way, and these problems can be attributed to the management, to the system that we put in place, to the process that we put in place, and just 4%, just 6% for the people. But then again, on the other side of the coin, you would always see as well. So how about the what they call it? How about the mental health of the leaders? Definitely, it's so hard, right? I mean, as leaders, it's so hard, and people look up to us most of the time because they expect a lot from us. So I believe at some point you feel like you lose a motivation, and because sometimes you're burnt out. I believe as leaders, it pays to, as mentioned by Bonnie, it pays to sometimes be silent, be pause, reflect, and maybe have that retreat. I mean, the one that was being offered as well by Sir Bong. I mean, that moment with HR people, I believe that's very important for us. And I was also, maybe last thing that I would want to share, because we don't have that much time, would be the question earlier when it comes to the fraud. For me, it's a no, definitely, right? Anything that has any involvement with money, for me, it's always like a no. But I was also thinking about the logic of the question, like why it was asked in the first place. Maybe that person is an HR practitioner who's trying to balance between that accountability and grace, because most of that is really hard to balance. That try to balance between the two. It's really hard, right? It's either you become too graceful, and then this is what will happen. It's either you become, if you push for more accountability, then anxiety will come into the picture. So I believe us as leaders, there's a lot of things that we need to do, and a lot of expectations from everyone. So, but there's a lot of, definitely a lot of moments that a lot of people don't know on the back end and what's happening right here on our end. So I believe that's the only thing that I can share at this point. Maybe back to you, Tina or Sir Bong.
Sir Bong, just a question with regards to Grace Torrente Perea. What would you do in a situation where an employee who has been in a dilemma for over 3 years gets promoted by management? Would it not be wise to address the employee's dilemma before promoting them to a position of greater responsibility? And I think the question is more on the lack of availability of leadership in organizations now. It's so easy to get rank and file and subordinates, but it's really hard to train leaders who knows discipline management. Any advice to owners or business managers who want to reach where you are? Kasi hindi madali talagang alamin kung ano yung, I mean, it was never taught in school. Discipline management with practical applications is never taught in school. You learn about the labor code, but it's not just the what, but also the how.
Correct.
Any advice?
Um, I wish I could know more about ano yung dilemma is all about, because there are, from a range, there's a simple dilemma and there's a
Mm,
complex dilemma. If it's a simple dilemma na kaya ma-resolve, sabihin na natin within the next, sabihin na natin 3 months.
mm,
Ipo-pursue ko yun after the third month. Ayusin lang muna natin yung simple dilemma yun.
mm,
But if it is something that is requires more long range, of course, hindi ko lang i-hold yung dilemma na yun, but everything related to that will be placed on hold. Perfect example that I experienced. Our general manager, a foreigner, told me that he is recommending a certain manager to
mm,
attend a training or conference overseas
mm,
because he is a high performer.
mm,
Kabago-bago ko pa lang dun sa company yun, less than 6 months, hindi pa ako regular, probe pa lang ako.
mm,
Actually, alam ko yung kaso
mm,
nung manager na yun. And
mm,
it was performance related.
mm.
Dahil merong ah, incident na money related, hindi pagnanakaw niya. But
Utang.
because of certain wrong decisions, maaring magbayad ng 1 milyon yung kumpanya. Okay. It's a
Mm,
customer manager related issue eh. Dahil nasa
mm,
customer side yung manager na yun. So, nung sinabi sa akin yun, nung time na yun, hindi ko pa masyado nare-review yung back-end case. Lumapit muna ako, katulad nga ng sinabi sa Sir Oli, call a friend.
mm,
Lumapit muna ako dun sa finance director. Dahil, siyempre, kung papunta siya overseas, sino magbabayad nung pagpunta niya overseas? Siyempre, yung finance. Okay.
mm,
Sabi ko sa finance director, and lahat kami doon friends, kahit bago pa ako. Ma'am,
mm,
nirecommend ni GM si ganito para mag-attend noon. Ma'am,
mm,
personally sinasabi ko sa iyo, ako ayoko dahil
mm,
ganyan ganyan ganyan. Okay.
mm,
Sasabihan ko yan kay GM, pero sinasabihan mo kita dahil una finance ka at saka pangalawa hihingi ako ng advice mula sa iyo.
mm,
Sabi ng finance, oo Bong, tama ka. Pangalawa, role mo naman yon na
Mm.
nagbigay ng proper advice kung sakali. In the same way siya, finance, pag may mali yung GM na sinasabi, siya mismo finance magsasabi sa GM. Tama lang yun. And yun ang maganda pag ang boss mo foreigner. Open sila sa ganun, objective sila eh. So tama, oh, sige ma'am, sasabihin ko kay GM. Tama, by sheer coincidence, dumating yung GM doon sa opisina ng finance, nandun ako. Sabi, ah, tapos, pumunta nga siya doon, para nga doon humingi ng budget para pupunta ng abroad yung manager. Tapos, nakatingin na sa akin yung finance manager. Sabi ko, sir, that's the reason why I'm here because I wanted to tell you about this and that. Sinabi ko, if you want to terminate me because I'm still pro-B, because I'm against your decision, let's do it now. Ginanong ko. Sabi niya, no. I love your honesty, your being frank, and yes, we will follow your recommendation. Uh, ang ayaw lang niya kung wala siyang planong sabihin ko sa kanya na nagkataon nandun lang ako. No. You can even ask ma'am that I asked her advice to before because my purpose was to tell you. Okay, good. No problem. So ganun. I hope I answered the question.
We're almost at the end of the show. So, any last words first from our guest speaker, Sir Bong, and also to promote, followed by Mentor Bonnie, Doc Ray, Coach Oliver, and then last me.
Paki-ko na lang Ma'am Tina yung ako ba magki-click ng slide? May pro-promote lang po ako.
Sige.
I-click ba yun? Yun. So kung wala nang questions, sorry, sobra. I have a YouTube vlog. It's called World at War Philippines or Wow Philippines. Paki-click, paki-like, paki-share, paki-subscribe. Ano po yung Wow Philippines? So that's World at War Philippines. My late father kasi was a World War II veteran and a Korean War veteran. So I did this because of my legacy for him. The other reason why I did this because many of generations do not know about the sacrifices that the men and women made in World War II and the Korean War and so many wars that the Filipinos fought. So dahil nasa YouTube yan, parang forever na yan, nandyan yan. So anybody can go there, just click the link. And if you need to ask me anything, that's my email address. It's Gmail. If you want to go to Facebook, just look for my name, Bong Aguilar. If you see the photos of my two granddaughters, ako po yun. Pero bago na yung profile ko ngayon eh. And if you want to call me, or text me rather, text mo nyo muna ako before, baka busy kasi po ako. Hindi na po yan ang cellphone ko, mas bago na po dyan. That's my number. So, ako rin gusto kong magpasalamat to many people, Sir Darwin, Ma'am Tina, Sir Ollie, Sir Ray, Ma'am Bonnie, Sir Alan, and I hope I didn't forget anyone, but everybody in Philippine HR Group and HR Cafe. I would like to take also a special mention na actually, surprise, I'm not a lawyer, but I learned many things about legalese, especially discipline management, from two persons. My former boss, Attorney Leo Duritan. Siya po nagpapadala sa akin sa lahat ng training na nare-request ko basta tungkol sa labor code, tungkol sa legal, approve agad sa kanya. Maraming salamat po, Attorney Leo Duritan. And to my mentor, Attorney Josephus Jimenez, na nagkataon, tuwing may training, siya lagi yung aking speaker. To the point is na magkakilala na kami. And alam nyo naman, kung kilala niyo si Attorney Jimenez, despite his stature, despite what he has achieved, he is a very, very humble guy na malalapitan kahit ninong HR. Ganon. So pasalamat po sa kanila. And marami pong nilagay ko dito sa aking tinuro sa inyo this afternoon, na sinare ko sa inyo, ay galing po si Attorney Jimenez. Wala po siyang legalist na sasabihin, copyrighted ko yan, wala ho. And he wants us to share everything knowledge because he wants all HR to know everything about HR, not only through him, but also through us once natutunan po natin sa kanya. Again, thank you very much, Philippine HR Group and the HR Cafe. Thank you.
Mentor Bonnie?
Hi everyone. Thank you, Sir Bong. That was a very good discussion. Parang gusto pa namin mag-overtime nga kasi dami na ano, dami chika. Ayan. So, and with that, we invite you for the Philippines HR Group Retreat for HR. Chika lang. Ayan. So, hopefully mangyari daw. Let's see, no? Darwin, ayan. Retreat daw for HR people. Sakto-sakto. Holy Week. Ayan. So, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Ollie. Thank you, Ray. It has been another great Sunday being with you guys. Hoping to see you in person na hindi magkatagpo ang ating mga schedule. Excited to see all of you in person. I am inviting all of you, if you have training programs and training needs, please email leadingwithsuccess@gmail.com. Thank you for being with us this Sunday. We are grateful for your time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sir Bong. That was definitely insightful. That has enriched us a lot, especially etymology and a lot of the things from discipline management perspective. I learned a lot as well from different stories from Mentor Bonnie, from Coach Oli, as well as from Mentor Tina, as well as Coach Darwin, who was here earlier. And thank you so much for all, who are listening or who are viewing us right now at the HR Cafe. And if you would like to follow a social media account, I have on LinkedIn. I also have a YouTube channel. So that's my passion project. That's called Mindgrit. I also have a Facebook page, so and an Instagram. So please feel free to follow. Please go ahead, Ollie.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and bye and enjoy. Have a good weekend ahead. Good week. Sorry, have a good week ahead. Well, I have nothing to plug except that looking forward to see you again in our next episode. I hope you won't give up on watching the weekly episode of HR Cafe, and it's the only channel that we have, I think, so far for HR discussions that is meant to be free and lively at the same time. So free doesn't mean that it's out of the topic or the discussion. So we try to make it meatier each time we conduct or we launch our episodes. So be on the lookout, and we look forward to see you again soon. Next episode, rather. All right. Enjoy.
Yeah, for me to end, I'm thank you so much, Sir Bong, for sharing with us your knowledge of 35 years. And I think one thing that stuck to me, yung sa sinabi sa kanina ni Sir Bong, is that you need to know what your goals are when it comes to disciplining people. The problem with us kasi when we discipline subordinates is sometimes we put ourselves first and we take it too far because we feel na it's very personal for us. Now, when an employee does not follow the rules, pinipersonal natin, hindi yung rules yung hindi fina-follow, tayo yung hindi sinusundan. And a lot of that has to do with feeling disrespected. Na napasok ka sa isang posisyon as a manager, may pinapagawa ka sa kanya pero hindi ka sinunod. Kaya dun nanggagaling yung galit ng isang manager sa isang subordinates na minsan nag-go across the line na hindi na siya mukhang professional. Hindi na siya nasa... Kasi if you look at discipline naman, the Philippines is very simple eh. Due process, twin notice rule, stay documented, ganun lang eh, hindi ba? Pero bakit lumalabas ang pikon pag merong nag-overstep ng boundaries natin? Kasi hindi yung rules lang eh. We take it about ourselves talaga na this person must follow. So it's all about winning. And the other person loses. Sir Bong reminds us that disciplinary process is to to resolve an issue, to correct a behavior. Diba? Papasunurin yung tao na yon, walang alam, hindi mo sunod. Ang goal is, malaman niya yung tama at mali at pasusunurinin mo. Dun lang. 'Di ba? Wala na tayong dadagdag pa ng panalo or talo. Kailangan pasunurin mo yung tao na yun. You have to convince that person this is the policy, guide that person to follow that policy. If the person does not follow policy, follow due process, terminate that person, no problem. Magdole siya, no problem. Pag nandun kayo sa mediation, nakatawa pa rin kayo kasi hindi naman siya personal. You're really
Correct.
just doing your job, right? And the issue now is we become so emotional because it's all about winning for us. Somebody must lose before we feel that we can win. Ayaw nating maisahan tayo ng tao. We wanna one up our subordinates. And I think that's the reason why so many people have conflicts in the organization because they lose sight of that bigger picture that they're molding, that an HR officer is molding the culture of an organization. This is not this is not a battle. This is just a battle. The ultimate goal is the entire war, which is where do you want your organization to move? What type of people you want your organization to attract? What type of rules you want everyone else to follow? Walang personalan. And it's a good thing that Bong has this seminar to remind us to go back to the why. Why do we want people to follow our rules? Are we doing it for the benefit of our bosses? Are we doing it for the benefit of our fellow managers? Or are we doing it for ourselves? Because I feel sometimes we do it for our own egos and our own pride and our own feeling of respect, quote and unquote, and not really for our organization, which makes us very terrible managers, regardless of where we go. So we need to differentiate ourselves with good managers who stay professional all throughout versus the bad managers who make their companies as their own playground where they put out more of their authority. Yung power tripping ba? Which is why we have toxic cultures kasi inuuna ng manager yung kanyang asar, kanyang feelings, kanyang perspective, opinions. Nakakalimutan na niya yung talagang purpose niya sa isang organization, which is to lead others. So today, we are reminded, again, discipline to ensure that everyone else is corrected, is made to follow everyone else for the good of all, and not just for a good of one. And I hope that everyone else can be more of an adult when dealing with their staff. Kasi after 18 naman siguro, adult na tayo lahat. Hindi na kailangan i-personal. You can talk to a person and discipline that person, and ang labas, magte-thank you pa sa'yo yung tao na yun. Kasi may tinuruan ka sa kanya para ayusin niya ang sarili niya na kung hindi niya maayos yan sa organisasyon mo, at least maayos niya yan sa susunod niyang organisasyon. Wala kayong samaan ng loob. And that is the best type of discipline wherein pinagalitan mo na, pinagsabihan mo na, nag-thank you pa sa'yo. And I hope that everyone else watching the seminar will be the type of manager wherein everyone na umaalis sa organisasyon mo, nagte-thank you pa sa'yo because a manager like you cannot be found anywhere else. Sobrang hirap. And that is how you get a higher pay as an HR manager. 'Di ba? Yung talagang tipong napropromote bilang CHRO or CEO kasi marunong kang makipaghalubilo kahit sa mga taong pasaway. And with that, thank you so much, everyone. And we look forward to seeing you at the next HR Cafe. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.